Chapter 1199, Gambling Town's Upstart. Chapter 1199, Gambling Town's Upstart. Proofreader, Papa Tonks. Senior Aunt Mai. Chu Ching Cheng jumped in fright, looking back in anxiety where the voice came from and stiffened like a child being caught. A woman in her 50s came over, a mid-stage empress, with sharp eyes and an ashen face wearing plain clothes. She glared at the two, approaching with authority. Her fierce attitude only worked on girls, not on seasoned demons like Shuofan. My Sangu hasn't kicked the bucket yet. What a drag. Shuofan cursed her. Inside, my Sangu reached them and her eyes never left Chu Ching Cheng. Behind her were Fang Minute and the other girls, along with one young man. She pointed at Shuofan's face while cussing. Ching Cheng, who's this? You're a Ruby Cloud sect disciple yet are gallivanting with a man in broad daylight? The scandal. Senior Aunt, He, Chu Ching Cheng was embarrassed, stuck unable to even introduce him. Fang Minute butted in, ever unhelpful with making things worse. Senior Aunt, he's the thug we found in the forest looking for herbs a few months ago. He's nothing, but he must be one smooth talker to actually get in Junior Sister's graces to follow her here. Junior Sister, if you were looking for a man, you sure have poor tastes. Just what are you up to hanging out with a nobody like him? Ha ha ha. The other girls giggled at her expense. Senior Sister, you misunderstand. H's. Chu Ching Cheng rushed to explain but got stuck again. My Sangu rushed. Ching Cheng, just what is going on here? Explain yourself. You know very well of your master's high expectations. Don't throw it all away on a whim. Senior Aunt, I. Just tell them already. Chu Ching Cheng kept stammering, so Shuofan intervened, grabbing her hand and declaring, forgive me, but she is with me now. You all better be nice to her, or else. Everyone froze, their hearts shuddering from shock. My Sangu could hardly believe her ears. Ching Cheng, why UVE already? No, we didn't do anything. Chu Ching Cheng blushed hard as she explained and cursed Shuofan. What are you saying? I'm not yours at all. Could you please stop lying to everyone? What did I ever do to you to shame me so? Shuofan shrugged. I'm not shaming you. You were mine to begin with. Be it now and forever, no one can take you away from me. Chu Ching Cheng gave him a long look, still distressed and red, but his bold declaration touched her. Ha ha ha. A bone-tempering punk goes after a Ruby Cloud sect disciple? Not even the last dead girl will be a fit for you. Humph, she's way out of your league. Fang Minute laughed, throwing him a despising look, then turned to the handsome youth. Arsheng, are the Sword Cloud Palace disciples allowed to have affairs with bugs? The youth smiled condescendingly. We aren't fools to resort to such absurd means. Or does Junior Sister think she is only fit for this guy? Well said, Junior Sister must surely know her worth. Ha ha ha. Fang Minute loved to mock the two. Chu Ching Cheng hung her head with guilt, tears flowing. My Sangu sighed and pulled her shoulder. Come with me, girl. You shamed us enough as it is. You're to reflect long and hard when we return. Chu Ching Cheng followed out of instinct. Ching Cheng, it's fine. Just come find me if you need anything. I'll never let them touch a hair on you. Shuofan shouted after the two. Fang Minute mocked. Boy, you're so yellow on the inside that you're now running your mouth. You call that skill? If you're a man, just go take Junior Sister from Senior Aunt Mai's hand. Oh, look who I'm talking to. Of course if you'd do that you'd end up flattened with Senior Aunt's temper. Ha ha ha. Brother, may I know your name? Shuofan only addressed the youth next to her. The guy was surprised, then sneered. I am Shu Zhensheng. What may I do for you? Nothing much, just meaning to give you a word of advice. Shuofan snickered. Catching a woman's heart is like looking for a needle in the haystack. You have to grasp what she values. Your approach won't get you anywhere. Ha ha ha. Shuofan left him to digest that tidbit, while Fang Minute and the girls stood there stunned. Fang Minute asked, what did he mean by that? Probably nothing. Shu Zhensheng was out of sorts, making a random excuse, while his heart was in awe. He doesn't look like it, but this guy's like a love doctor or something. Go after what she values. It makes perfect sense. He butted in just now so the Junior Sister would be at odds with both parties, having no choice but to go with him. What kind of person would ever want to live their lives under constant nagging? This was a clear tactic of taking advantage of the situation to get the girl to his side. They could just elope later on. Absolutely brilliant. But what's the point of getting the girl to follow him when he hasn't got the skill to fight back the Ruby Cloud Sex hunters? If he can't handle them, why resort to dissent? He doesn't look like the reckless and impulsive type either. Xu Zhensheng couldn't figure him out. Fang Minute and the girls gave him odd looks. What's with Arsheng? He's been out of it just from a couple words from that guy. How peculiar. My Sangu brought Chu Qingcheng to a tavern in Mist City, where she interrogated her over what she went through. You're saying that you've been hurt badly and he guided you here? You were just using him to show you the way, and that's all there is to it. Senior aunt, that is it for now. What's that supposed to mean? Don't tell me later you. Not at all. Chu Qingcheng shook her head and my Sangu finally sighed. I hope so, Qingcheng. You are the favorite disciple of my senior sister. Don't do anything that will bring the sect shame. Since it was just a misunderstanding, we can let it go. But next time, you are to stay clear of men, understand? Yes. Chu Qingcheng squeaked. My Sangu gestured for her to leave. Go and get some rest for 2 days. In 3 days, the exchange gathering will commence. We have to get the Nether Sea map. Yes. Chu Qingcheng was downcast as she left, with my Sangu sighing from behind. Girls yearn for love. We better find them a betrothal instead of having some egotistical cheat toy with them. Zhuo Fan held a green jade slip, following the map inside to the center of town, to a large courtyard guarded by 2 Genesis stage experts. This is the place. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone. The 2 guards blocked him as he tried going inside. Halt. Only honored guests of Mist City stay here. Laborers have no place here. Step aside, I'm one of them. You. Sizing him up, the 2 mocked. Have you ever seen some bone-tempering bug treated as a guest? I'm from the Luo clan, now move. Luo clan? The 2 started, but their disdain of Zhuo Fan never diminished. Kid, now you're trying to scare us? The Luo clan became an honored guest only a month ago. They squandered billions of sacred stones and earned our city lord's personal invitation here. They have many experts, of which over 20 spirit kings. Yet you're saying there's also you somewhere in there? Zhuo Fan's face sank. Then just call someone from the Luo clan and it will all be made clear? Why? Is a bug worthy of the audience of such an important guest? Steward Zhuo. A cry came just then as Li Jingtian rushed over upon noticing Zhuo. Steward Zhuo, you're finally here. You almost made my heart stop with your year-long disappearance. The guards blinked in stupefaction, a silly smile on their faces. Sir Li, why you know him? He is the Luo clan's head steward. Be nice to him or any slight done to Steward Zhuo is a slight to the entire Luo clan. We'll be sure to settle this debt. Li Jingtian gave them a tongue lashing and grabbed Zhuo Fan's arm with a smile. Steward Zhuo, we did as you said in the jade slip and spent a ton of money without a care. We almost bought the whole town. Ha ha ha. Good, in 3 days, at the treasure gathering, we must succeed. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone as he left with Li Jingtian. The 2 guards were still staring with goony looks, their faces twitching. What's a powerful clan doing with a bone-tempering nobody for a head steward? From the looks of Sir Li, they value him greatly too. Chapter 1200, Treasure Gathering. Chapter 1200, Treasure Gathering. Proofreader, Papatonks. 3 days later, at the treasure hoarding palace, placed in the center of Mist City, an endless crowd had gathered. Some were officials, others were average people, but they were all there for the great treasure exchange, though that was just a fancy word for gambling. As most treasures were never seen in public, some would end up spending a fortune, only to get nothing in return. Others had the fortune of using just 10 spirit stones and becoming set for life. This was the thrill of gambling, fraught with dangers, but the potential to win a reward so valuable that it could put you in power overnight. Everyone here walked in line, for on this day there was no status separating anyone as they entered the hall and got to their seats. The place housed hundreds of thousands, gathered around a stage where the city lord of Mist City awaited today. He was not just the city lord, but the host for the occasion. With this exchange holding some very incredible items, he had to come out and handle this big event involving powerful people. Taking a deep breath, the man of the hour overlooked the stands, tensing as he lingered a moment longer on the 9 covered private booths. Therein were the other representatives of the 8 emperors. All were a headache to deal with and could trash this place without fear of consequences. It unnerved him, But he tried to focus and calm his mind. We've been here for a month yet still haven't seen the city lord. Such a nervous wreck. In one of the booths, Li Jingtian glanced at the fretful man and turned to the other booths. Steward Zhuo, today we're up against the 8 emperors, in the open no less, but isn't it a bit too early with barely a year of preparations? Even Mist City Lord isn't ready to face the others, and he has the gambling emperor behind him. Zhuo Fan sat in a cozy chair. Yes, the risk is great, but we have to grasp the opportunity. It's the best chance we have of involving ourselves in the 8 emperors conflict. Who's to say there'll be a next one? Also, didn't I say I will be taking the lead in this? Young Miss Murong, what are you two even doing here? Zhuo Fan looked back at the 2 girls as the young miss of the Luo clan. I have to be present at such a huge event. Luo Yunchang shrugged from her own fancy chair. Murong Shui gave him a look. I'm not about to miss out on the chance of seeing the sacred domain's big shots. So far, it doesn't look any different from the mortal domain. If it's all the same, why come? Barley Yuyu rolled her eyes. We're here to show these big names in sacred domain what we're made of, not strut about. You're both here for nothing. Hey, don't talk like that. Who's in charge of the clan here anyway? Settle down now. As they were about to bicker again, Zhuo Fan intervened. Since we're all here, might as well enjoy it. Young Miss Luo is correct though. At such an important event, a steward isn't enough to represent the clan head's intentions. It's only normal for the young miss to be here. Luo Yunchang rose an eyebrow, shooting Barley Yuyu a smug look. The cold lady huffed and flicked her head away. The others chuckled at their antics. Bang tilde. A deafening ringing echoed as a bell was struck. The stands went quiet, with the city lord walking forward with a smile. Guests, the 1784th treasure exchange gathering begins. Be it the poor or the rich, this very hall offers the same opportunity to all, an opportunity to change their destiny. Life is hard and cruel, so don't wait for it to get better. Take out everything you have and go after those treasures. The crowd went wild. We'll start off with our first item of the day. At City Lord's shout, guards pushed in a trolley. It had a black cover, blocking any prying eyes as the host gave his speech. This is a fascinating spiritual weapon for the ladies, and an obsession for the men. It is a treasure that drives shock into all. You can't possibly imagine the world could ever have something so incredible. What is it, you ask? The eyes below the stage glittered, trying their best to guess what this amazing bauble could be behind that thin veil. With a cryptic smile, the city lord resumed, I don't know it and neither do any of you. Per custom, it can be something grand and unique, or as common as dirt. Let the blind bidding commence and may the highest bidder win. Opportunity rarely knocks in one's lifetime, people. Don't miss your chance at glory. 100,000 spirit stones. A shout echoed the instant he finished riling up the crowd, followed by a flood of others. 1 million. I must have it. It has to be amazing to make women fascinated and men obsessed. 5 million. The people whispered, then checked their pockets to see if they could afford it. Some had the means but not the will to step in, for fear of going bust. Zhuo Fan sneered at the bivalent crowd. That's the gambling emperor's ploy all right, plant to hike up the bidding. That means the item must be junk to raise it so high. Why? People would feel sorry spending a fortune over something cheap, but it garners attention. While buying something valued with a lower price would cause excitement and greed. All these years, the gambling emperor has been using this trick to cheat people out of their money. It's an old tactic, but there's plenty of people out there who would fall for it all the same. Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan shook his head in disdain. Li Jingtian nodded. Yeah, but what kind of fools would fall for it? Do you need to ask? Us, of course. Hey. Li Jingtian flinched. Steward Zhuo, you know it's a trick yet still go for it. What else do you expect from an upstart? You're saying all those sacred stones you wasted the past month are to be for nothing? Zhuo Fan smiled. The Grand 8 Emperors are high up on their throne and hardly anyone could get close. The best way is to find some dumb and gullible moneybags. Who wouldn't want a friend, pawn like that? That's how you gain value, by joining their circle, taking back what you lost plus interest. Li Jingtian grinned. Steward Zhuo, you always look ahead. Then let's bid, but what's the price at right now? 8 million. Then we'll add one more. 10 million. A shout came first before Fan got the chance. Filled with power, Fan's eye twitched, looking over. One of the 8 emperors? Arsheng, we're not here to have some bet with the gambling emperor, nor do we have so many spirit stones. The map is all that matters. In the booth where the last bid came from, an elder with white eyebrows eyed Shu Zhenxing with a grave look. Shu Zhenxing smiled. Senior uncle, I'm buying with my own money for a girl. As long as she likes it, the price won't matter. It won't affect the sect's coffers by a single stone. He then gave Fang Minute a dazzling smile. She felt her insides tingle. Then she preened at her junior sisters. See that, my man knows how to please his girl. Envious much? Ha ha ha. The girls nodded like good children, with only Chu Qingcheng depressed, her mind always on Fan. Sir Liu, Arsheng looks smitten with our Minute. It won't be long before they tie the knot, ha ha ha. Third Aunt Mai giggled, showing her white teeth, a stark difference from how she acted around Fan and Qingcheng. Her mind was another matter, however, our Minute is good at this, having the kid wrapped around her finger. Humph, let him waste his money on the junk, and then they won't have anything left to bid for the Nether Sea map. Damn broad, going as far as using a honey trap. The elder frowned, reading her like a book. He says he's using his own money, but isn't your pocket money taken from the sect? We're in Gambling Town and he should know its standards. What if you're wasting just that little bit of money? We might need to place a winning bid at the very end. How is that going to help the sect? The elder glared hard at Shu Zhenxing. He caught his meaning but showed no reaction. Chasing girls is pricey. That guy used the elder's nagging to make the lass fall for him then elope. I'll just use money to buy a girl's heart. Isn't that the same? And regarding eloping, bringing the Ruby Cloud sect's head senior sister over to the Sword Empress sect will earn me bragging rights. Some glittering rocks can't ever compare to that. 20 million. Zhuo Fan shouted an even higher bid. Chapter 1201, A Moneybags Style. Chapter 1201, A Moneybags Style. Proofreader, Papatonks. Shu Zhenxing's face twitched and fell, glaring at the other booth. Senior uncle, who is that? Oh, that must be the Luo clan. The old man squinted and said, they're not with them, just a group that got fame from throwing their money around in Gambling Town recently, nothing but moneybags. Nothing. They go after 8 emperors' people without any backing? I can't lose now. What about Sword Emperor's sect's reputation? Shu Zhenxing shouted, 30 million. Zhenxing. The elder snapped, a little too late. Youths could never handle a challenge right, irking for a fight at the slightest provocation. 30 million was his yearly allowance for training, yet it was all thrown over some unknown useless bauble. The old man cursed him for being a sore loser. While Fang Minute rejoiced under the second-hand attention, Zhuo Fan casually replied, sacred stones. The entire stands were stirring, with all eyes fixed on his booth in shock. 20 million sacred stones over some random crap? That was no longer betting, but throwing cash around. What kinda moneybags are behind that curtain? Shu Zhenxing choked, grimacing, unable to face Fang Min's hopeful eyes and choosing to direct all his hatred at the enemy. Bastard, who the hell are these Luos? Throwing away 20 million sacred stones like garbage? Did they run out of spirit stones? This is absurd. They got more money than a Sword Emperor disciple. The senior uncle was stunned, but sighed in relief. I'm glad this wastrel got his desires curbed, ha ha ha. Honored Luo clan, are you sure you want to bet 20 million sacred stones on this? The city lord was taken aback as well. All eyes awaited for the booth's reply. City lord, we only have sacred stones and will only be using them from now on. Boom. The hall exploded with clamor, never leaving the booth out of their sight. They all heard of the Luo clan's deep pockets, but to think they were bottomless. They used sacred stones right off the bat and they would keep doing it. What were the rest supposed to bet then? Many clutched their heads, grimacing out of futility to deal with this upstart. Looking at the crowd, the city lord stuck to his role. The Luo clan bid 20 million sacred stones on this item. Is there anyone else who bids more? Silent as the grave. No one at all? The city lord tried. Seeing no reaction, he declared, then the fascination of women and obsession of men shall go to the Luo clan. The city lord threw his arm and uncovered the trolley to reveal a dazzling prismatic hairpin, decorated with 18 crystalline pearls of incredible clarity that mesmerized the crowd. The girls in particular looked spellbound, holding them under its mystical spell. Prismatic virtuous hairpin, Created from refined metal 180 times and adorned with pearls, each priceless. As a woman, wearing such a pearl hairpin would magnify their beauty, emphasize their elegance, and perfect their image. The city lord went on. Alas, it can't be considered anything more than a hairpin. Any man that would buy it is bound to have their hearts bleed in regret going home with this trinket. Ha ha ha. The audience burst out in laughter, most of which were men, of course. As for the women, they were just enamored with the pearl hairpin. The Ruby Cloud sect women, even my Sangu, weren't any different, their eyes sparkling like that of a young girl. Fang Minute bit her lip, giving Shu Zhenqing a reproachful look. You're useless. You couldn't even buy a hairpin. Sister Minute, it's good that he didn't. It's nothing but a pointless decoration worth less than 100 spirit stones. As if. It has its uses and I wanted it. Fang Minute whined like a spoiled brat. Chu Qingcheng nodded at the side, envious. Sure, it's not valuable, but it'll be nice to be able to wear it just once. You. Huh. Fang Minute scoffed. No amount of hairpins will work on someone as hopeless as you. Chu Qingcheng pouted with a lowered head. The city lord turned to the Luo clan to say, of course, a sword is worthy of a hero, as makeup is sublime on a lady. We've been mocking its value only from a man's standpoint. For a woman, however, especially a breathtaking beauty as young Miss Luo, it is another matter entirely. With your wealth, it is not just about money when bidding on the hairpin, but a must-have accessory. Take the hairpin to young Miss Luo. Yes. An attendant took the trolley with the item. All the eyes that glittered as the item passed belong solely to women, filled with envy. Hold. A voice from the booth came. What? Give this hairpin to Ruby Cloud sect's young Miss Chu Qingcheng. Everyone got rowdy again. All whispering as they turned in Ruby Cloud sect's direction. Luo clan just threw away 20 million sacred stones just so it can gift it to Ruby Cloud sect. Are they their backers? The Ruby Cloud sect group was baffled as well. Fang Minute turned eager to my Sangu, senior aunt. Is the Luo clan with us? The elder stared at her hard, tense. With Ruby Cloud sect having such a wealthy branch, it will make the last bidding dangerous. I don't know. Sect leader didn't tell me anything. Were they sent to help? My Sangu was floundering. An attendant brought the item over, bowing. Senior, who might Miss Qingcheng be? Whoosh tilde. All eyes focused on Chu Qingcheng, who looked out of sorts as she raised a hand. The attendant smiled and bowed again as he presented the hairpin. As Miss Heard, the Luo clan's master gifts you this. Please take it, miss. Oh. Chu Qingcheng operated on reflex at this point, too overwhelmed to speak. Before she did reach it, however, another hand flicked the cover and moved to grab it right in her face with a cold eye. The attendant dodged the insidious hand, staring at the owner. Miss, you're not Chu Qingcheng and I can't give it to you. I'm the head senior sister of Ruby Cloud sect, Fang Minute. If Luo clan told you to give Ruby Cloud sect the time, then why can't I have it? Fang Min's eyes burned with jealousy as she grinded her teeth. The man spat. Master Luo bought the hairpin, and it's our duty to give it to the rightful owner. Gambling Town abides by this rule. Since Sir wished for young Miss Qingcheng of Ruby Cloud sect to have it, it's clear that it doesn't belong to the sect itself. Damn you. Minna, stop making a scene. You're only making a fool of yourself. Fang Minute was about to flip out, but my Sangu shouted. She then smiled. Qingcheng, it's his gift, so take it. Chu Qingcheng nodded with a smile, taking the item offered by the attendant and adorning the hairpin in her hair. The clothes made the man, or the woman in this case, as the hairpin blended flawlessly with the perfect girl, turning her otherworldly. Chapter 1202, Gambling Stage. Chapter 1202, Gambling Stage. Proofreader. Papatonks. Qingcheng? Did you find her? Luo Yunchang heard Zhuo Fan shouting and flinched. Did I hear right? Is she from Ruby Cloud sect? Zhuo Fan nodded and eased a long breath. Yes, it's truly unfortunate that she is so close to Ruby Cloud sect. It's sure to make things worse at one point. Then congratulations. Li Jingtian muttered, looking strained. Zhuo Fan cared not, saying, Elder Li, there's something strange about the secrecy around Qingcheng in Ruby Cloud sect. Look into it, as well as what events happened 100 years ago. I have a feeling that hag is setting her up for something. Sure, Steward Zhuo, I'll go check it out later. Thanks. Zhuo Fan frowned, his mind elsewhere. The city lord once again announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, as well as seniors, the first item found an owner, but you needn't fret, for our second item is far more precious. Bring it in." 30 million. The city lord flinched, looking again at the Luo clan booth with a twitchy eye. "Es sir, I've yet to call out the starting price." "Who cares, I just gotta have it." Boom. The stands were taken by storm once more. The first item's only clue to its value was the city lord's base price, but now that was shot out the window, placing a sky-high bid off the bat regardless if it was junk or diamonds. Though it would be such a shame for those 30 million sacred stones if it ended up being a bust. Thinking about it from a different angle, what shame would there be if they're filthy rich? The real question is, just how loaded are they to burn so much money? The focus of the gathering has changed from betting to figuring out the mystery behind the Luo clan. Where did they come from? The city lord sighed, but stuck to his role, calling it thrice. Anyone else? Anyone at all? Someone? Everyone was silent. Knowing nothing about that thing on the stage, and already having a 30 million bid on it, no one would be insane to take such unwarranted risk. The item goes to the Luo clan. The city lord slammed his gavel. "What is it, you might ask?" "Let us see." "Give it to young Miss Ching Cheng from Ruby Cloud Sect, thanks." Zhuo Fan cut him off, making the city lord stumble. He gave a powerless and strained sigh as he said, "Sir, you don't even wish to know what you bought?" "No, since everything will be delivered to young Miss Ching Cheng." Zhuo Fan's tone was irreproachable. The city lord gave a casual wave, sending the attendant with the item. Everyone watched as the unknown item moved away. This never happened once in the history of Mist City. Ruby Cloud Sect's group was dumbfounded. Who's Luo clan? Why are they just giving us stuff? They want to work their way into our good graces? Yeah, that's gotta be it. But why then are they sending it to just one person, the youngest disciple? That was what had these girls stumped. So began an endless trail of unknown items sent to Chu Ching Cheng with every outrageous bid from Zhuo Fan. Before the city lord ever got to rile up the crowd, Chu Ching Cheng had to do nothing and found herself swimming in treasures with a blank look. As for the people coming here for the thrill of betting, they were left powerless against such moneybags, turning into props to make him look good since he won all the items with an impossible price. The others had nothing on him. It was a sad day for any gambler. A dreamer, or a plain addict, it mattered not the heavy loss or the crushing defeat, but being unable to bet. The city lord felt the worst of it by far. With every dreaded call from Zhuo Fan, an item was bought without even being able to get a word in. The only dignity as host remaining was to call the next item. It was a sad, sad day for him. Now that all the items were gone, it was city lord's time to shine once more. With the commodities over, we would first like to thank our honored Luo clan for being our greatest investor. The next item shall be the greatest the city has ever seen. The 8 emperors of the sacred domain shall now compete over our last item, Nether Sea Map. Others are welcome to join, so long as you can stomach it and have the strength to back it. Ha ha ha. 8 emperors? The tired or bored gamblers thought the last item might be their time to shine. They were happy chasing the thrill even if it meant losing the shirt off their backs. Hearing 8 emperors being mentioned, however, woke them up on the spot. You kidding me? Bet with the 8 emperors? I'm too young to die. Not a sound was made in the entire hall, with the audience feeling a chill down their backs. The city lord gave them a cold smile, then smirked at the Luo clan's booth. You can have the world's wealth in your pocket, but not even you have the gall to challenge these powerhouses. 8 emperors representatives, this is a request from the gambling emperor. Please present your bids on the table so that the winner can be declared without any hard feelings. Bring chairs and a table. Someone brought a large table and 7 seats. The city lord smiled, being the first to face it and take out a grey map to display it on the table. The people in the booths huffed and made their way out, including my Sangu's group, each looking impressive. The audience had their first glimpse of real power. What does the gambling emperor intend with this? Give his town a show? Yeah, as each of us are people of repute, why should we bother giving these people any consideration by showing our competition? Does the gambling emperor want to inflate his image? Are you planning on leading all of the other emperor representatives by the nose? Curses and sneers sounded at the table as each representative took their seats, with their people standing behind. The city lord smiled. People, since you came to Gambling Town, You must gather around the betting table. The Nether Sea map can't just be given, since the gambling emperor has been wanting the Nether sovereign's seat of enlightenment as well. Why invite us here for betting? The city lord's eyes shone, showing a sinister smile. We can't sell it to you, but we can lose it as long as you have the means to win it. My Sangu squinted and huffed. Fine, and how do we play? I'm sure the common games of chance are beneath such fine people, so we'll be using riddles. Guessing right makes you the winner. In case of a draw, the house wins. The city lord smirked. Riddle? The 7 people nodded. Fine. Then let the games begin. Wait. To the shock of everyone in there, a shout came from the Luo clan booth. Add another seat. The Luo clan is joining. What? The crowd stirred. The Luo clan is competing with the 8 emperors? Is it suicidal? Or do they have backing? The representatives themselves were taken aback, each trying to guess their history. With such nerves of steel, they had to be something else to join such a bet. Did they represent Sacred Mountain? The city lord smiled. Bring another seat. There's plenty of room around the betting table. One empty chair appeared on the side of the large table, with everyone fixed on it with strange gazes. The Luo clan walked out of their booth and made their way down. Chu Ching-cheng and Ruby Cloud Sect's girls gasped. You? What are you doing here? As part of the Luo clan, it's only natural that I follow young miss. Something wrong? Zhuo Fan beamed, walking in front. His mysterious manner gave others no means of reading him. Chapter 1203, Treasure Competition. Chapter 1203, Treasure Competition. Proofreader, Papatonks. Startled, Chu Ching-cheng stared at Zhuo Fan, getting more confused by the second. The other girls couldn't wrap their heads how a magnet like the Luo clan would take in bone-tempering garbage. Zhuo Fan couldn't care less about what they thought, smiling at one particular girl. Ching-cheng, did you like what I gave you? Ah, you gave them to me. Yes, did you like them? Zhuo Fan sighed. Sorry for giving you random things. We were only together for a short time and couldn't tell what you'd like, so I just gave you everything to pick the right one for you. If you don't like anything, just throw them away. But tell me what you like so I'll be sure to pick the best for you next time. It's fine, they're all nice. Chu Ching-cheng blushed red-hot, lowering her head as her heart blossomed in her chest. Zhuo Fan smiled. Nice? What were they then, since I couldn't see? Tell me all about them so I can give you more in the future. You don't have to waste your money. Humph, he didn't waste anything, especially since he didn't even want that stuff. So he just showered you with them while he was at it. You really think he'll do it again? Fang Minute was stewing in her jealousy as she scoffed. Master Luo must have bought all that to show off, regardless what stuff it was. Who knows what the punk must have said to his master to gain the right to handle such garbage. He's nowhere near capable of getting millions of sacred stones from his master just to burn them for you. Yeah, he's just a lucky bastard to have such a nice master to take him in. What a shame to have picked dirt from the ground. Of course he has no say over his master's money, not to give it to you at least. Xu Zhansheng was also irked. Junior sister, you better stay away from him. He's nothing but a lapdog. Do you wish to rely on someone's charity? Chu Ching-cheng looked hurt, giving Zhuo Fan a long look before saying, Senior sister, but he's really nice. Even if he didn't buy all of that, just his thoughtful. Come again. Dumping the stuff his master didn't want on you is thoughtful? Dumb girl, are you so cheap? Fang Minute glared hard, then turned to my Sangu. Senior aunt, shouldn't you handle this? Junior sister Ching-cheng is being misled. My Sangu gave Zhuo Fan a cold look, speaking to the seated Luo Yunchang. Girl, leash your servant from his obnoxious flirting. Hey, old bat, it's you who should tighten the chain on those she-dogs. Their incessant barking is driving us nuts. Luo Yunchang bit back. The audience gaped. The Luo clan just taunted an emperor's representative. How cool is that? Just who are they? My Sangu was nearing her 10th millennium yet just got insulted by a wee girl. Of course she'd explode, slapping the table and flaring her aura at Luo Yunchang. You have some nerve, dumb girl. Whoosh tilde. A figure flashed in front of Luo Yunchang, spreading his cold aura to counter my Sangu's temper. Meeting in an explosive clash, my Sangu shook, her heart in shock. Barley Yuyu fell back, glaring at my Sangu in challenge. Old bat, not bad at all. How did this miss? My Sangu sized Barley Yuyu up, shocked by the second. The rest were baffled while also raising the Luo clan's importance in their minds. My Sangu was a tested and true Emperor stage expert, but Barley Yuyu was a mere spirit king. Despite the gap, they were matched. No wonder the Luo clan joined the 8 Emperors fray. The representatives' hearts sank, no longer dismissing them. The audience was restless. Barley Yuyu took a deep breath, turning to Zhuo Fan, who only had eyes for Chu Qingcheng. Steward Zhuo, you caused this mess yet you're flirting to the side. Yeah, Steward Zhuo, you said you wanted to bet so we came along. Why should you stay behind and relax while I'm taking it over for you? Luo Yunchang gave him a smile, her tone bitter. Steward? Chu Qingcheng started. Why you Luo clan's steward? The rest were astonished. How did a bone-tempering cultivator end up being a magnet steward? Don't they care about power when headhunting? I'll explain later. With a wide smile, Zhuo Fan rushed back, leaving Chu Qingcheng in confusion. Zhuo Fan reached Luo Yunchang and she casually ceded her seat. Li Jingtian tidied it up before gesturing to Zhuo Fan to take it with utmost respect. The audience was staring dumbstruck as the Luo clan steward took the seat of honor, but why? The city lord gave him a long look of confusion, but knew he was valued, so he also treated the steward with the respect he deserved, regardless of cultivation. Sir Zhuo, so young and so promising. Thank you, city lord. We may now begin the bet. Gladly. The city lord nodded and addressed the 8 people at the table. With all participants in order, I shall now speak of the rules. First of all, money dictates the chips you hold. The more you have, the easier to advance and become the house. The poorest needs to win bouts with the house to stay in the game. The instant he loses, it's game over. My Sangu squinted, which means? You take turns playing. The city lord snickered. Let's say, for example's sake, that we both take our treasures. If mine proves to be worth more, then I'm the house and you have to bet against me. Win, and you get everything to bet with the next contender. Beat all the others and you'll be crowned victorious. The people gasped. So before we get to challenge you, we first have to fight among each other. That means all the treasures might end with you while we get nothing. Yes, such a possibility exists, but it so happens that I'm the holder of the priceless Nether Sea map. All the treasures here can't hope to come close to it. That makes me, as a matter of course, the final house. Before that, however, give your all. One more thing, the first better has an advantage. He might have 2 treasures and can be a house, ha ha ha. Their faces sank and gnashed their teeth. The gambling emperor was evil, getting all of them to duke it out and still having a high chance of losing everything at the very end. The map was his and so would be their treasures, we'd get nothing. Folding, however, was not an option either. Stealing, on the other hand, would leave dire consequences to everyone here. It was a different item from that 9 Serenity's secret records. It had instant use. While this was merely a guiding tool, it was not worth waging war over something so vague. The contenders finally made their decision, nodding, let's do this. Whoosh tilde. My Sangu revealed her prismatic cup. This is Ruby Cloud Sect's core treasure, purple gold glazed cup, a 4th grade sacred weapon. The demonic emperor allowed me to bring the demonic gauntlet, a 3rd grade sacred weapon. An old man with black hair sighed as he threw in a claw with dark energy oozing out. He knew it was less than the purple gold glazed cup. Zhuo Fan's eyes shook. It was his finest work back in the day, given to his treacherous disciple. To think I'd see it here. The other representatives took out their own as well, some 4th other 3rd grade. The highest, however, belonged to the Sword Emperor, Howling Sword, 5th grade. The others gasped, this guy can become the 2nd house. He doesn't seem to mind using something so valuable in a bet. The city lord went by the book as he turned to Zhuo Fan. Luo clan, the item of your choosing. Magnates like them only have money. They have no legacy, only building their wealth over time. Humph. Fang Minute found the right moment to mock them. Zhuo Fan smiled and in a shower of light, a draconic roar echoed. The gaudy glow had them gawking. Chapter 1204, Brutal. Chapter 1204, Brutal. Proofreader, Papatonks. Clink. The light trailed over their heads and landed on the table, revealing the glorious and ostentatious 3-meter-long sword. with even a dragon scale on it. No less. The city lord's face twitched. Peak 5th grade sacred weapon? It's close to 6th grade even, a true rarity in the sacred domain. That's far from all. City Lord, would you care to take a closer look upon the way it was made? This is by no means amateur work, nor your average 5th grade sacred weapon. Luo Yunchang raised an eyebrow in pride. The City Lord bobbed his head. Indeed, young Miss Luo is right. The maker has instilled his peak sword arts into it, making it even have a spirit. Incredible. I fear not even a 6th grade sacred weapon might compare. It's a certainty, not just a possibility. Zhuo Fan grinned as he pointed out, City Lord, look here, could anyone get their hands on such ingredients? The City Lord took a closer look and gasped in shock. Why, you mean to say it's made with a scale from a Dragon King from the Dragonlands? The audience widened their eyes and cried out. Even the representatives were shaken up as they stared in disbelief. They have the nerve to have a sacred weapon made of a Dragon King scale? Do they have a death wish? Why, young Miss Luo, don't you know if the dragons from the Dragonlands find out? City Lord's face twitched hard, barely finding the words to speak. Zhuo Fan waved off his concern. City Lord, relax, we don't fear them, which is why we've taken it out. A Dragon King is a peak 10th level spiritual beast, stronger than the average emperor. We took one's scales to make a weapon out of it, yet we'd be scared to let them find out? Ha ha ha. Ah, I see. City Lord gave a bright smile, his heart racing as his image of Luo clan grew in his mind. Dragons were kings among spiritual beasts, with many powerful beings among them. Not even the 7 sacred mountains would mess with them, but the Luo clan did. Just who has their backs? Everyone's disdain of them was cut short then and there. The City Lord gave them a long look, then declared, People, I believe you all know the value of a 5th grade sacred weapon. All of your treasures combined can't even match Luo clan and Sword Emperor's items, each. With Luo clans being slightly better. Besides me, Luo clan is the final house, followed by the Sword Emperor representative, then all of you according to your treasures. Objections? It's plain to see this is fair, so of course there aren't any. A grimacing old man took the demonic gauntlet as he turned to savage-looking young master, Wraith Scholar, your shadow veil is 4th grade. As the demonic emperor's representative, bet with me, with you being the house. The scholar had a creepy smile as he fanned himself with a ghastly fan, nodding, sure, I shall be happy to face thousand-faced devil. You ask first. No, it's your right as the house. With pleasure. Pa. Snapping the fan closed, the scholar said, answer me this. Was it the demonic emperor, the one who destroyed the 36 gates of Demon Light Castle 3 years ago? Thousand-faced devil's face shook, stammering, Wraith Scholar, why do you say that? Didn't you investigate and found it to be the Falcon Emperor? Yes, we thought so as well, but after fighting among each other and suffering losses, it was the demonic emperor who took advantage of the gap to step in. How do you explain that? What's so strange about them relying on the demonic emperor for protection to avoid casualties? None, actually, but in our war, neither side won, with the prideful demonic emperor expanding his domain for thousands of miles. It baffled both of us. Wraith Scholar snickered as he stared thousand-faced devil down. You're his right-hand man, so I would like to hear it from you. Spare us both the trouble of lying, it won't work. Everyone here knows, I'm sure, just that there is no proof. The gambling emperor is known to be fair at the gambling table. If his people judge it to be a lie, you shall become the loser. Taking a deep breath, thousand-faced devil eyed the cold City Lord. He already had a decision in mind and knew the truth fine. I admit it to be the demonic emperor's doing. But that's because I only needed that cleared up. You win. Wraith Scholar snickered as he pushed his treasure over. The Wraith Emperor will be sure to join the Falcon Emperor to settle this debt with the demonic emperor. Tell him to be ready for a reckoning. Thousand-faced devil's face twitched as he took it. I will tell him. Farewell. Wraith Scholar stood up and cupped his hands. Thank the gambling emperor for his fairness. I shall now take my leave. The others looked puzzled as he went. Isn't this supposed to be a riddle? How come it became truth or dare? Bam! Thousand-faced devil slapped the table in anger. City Lord, is this the gambling emperor's intention? The gambling emperor only proposed betting, not involving himself in your issues. Now Sir has 2 items and can be the house. The city lord smiled. Thousand-faced devil was outraged, but he held it in. Gambling emperor knew all along what happened then. He kept it hidden for so long not to gain hatred. With the 2 having no proof of hanging it over the demonic emperor's head, they could do nothing today. However, he had no choice but to admit it, thus giving them an excuse. It wasn't his fault though, since the demonic emperor gave him strict orders to get that map. If he denied it, he would have gotten back only to die. The demonic emperor's cruelty was well known. Taking a deep breath, thousand-faced devil could only keep going. The demonic emperor was already tough enough not to fear the other 2. All that mattered was the map, so he turned to the Falcon Emperor's representative to shout, "I'm the house now, please." The grizzled old man met his challenge. Thousand-faced devil did have some skill though, using his cunning and favoritism to pave his way forward and win many treasures. He was now facing Ruby Cloud Sect. How many stars are in the sky? With so many shining, who can say? Can you? My Sangu retorted. Thousand-faced devil snickered and shook his head. I don't either, making this a draw. But I'm the house, so that makes it my win. Hand it over. Thousand-faced devil threw the purple gold glazed cup in his bag. Ruby Cloud Sect's group was stumped. My Sangu stammered, "Wait, I've yet to ask my question." "You did, or does that not count?" City Lord smiled and shrugged. "Gambling town is fair. Your question was the same as his, and with neither knowing the answer, the house won." The women grimaced. Zhuo Fan chuckled. The devil now turned to the old man with the white eyebrows, taking out his treasures as he spoke with hatred. "Brother Liu, listen closely to my question." "Wait." The old man smiled and said, "I'm the house, so I go first." "Go ahead. Guess how many toes I had on my 5000th birthday?" Thousand-faced devil looked down at his shoes, making a wild guess. 10. "I've never heard of you suffering heavy wounds and shouldn't have anything cut off." The old man grinned, taking out a shoe to reveal all his 5 toes. Then his eyes shone and pointed. A bloody toe splattered on the floor. The old man sweated as he laughed. "Today's my 5000th birthday and only have 9 toes. You lose, thousand-faced devil. That's brutal." Thousand-faced devil gave him a long look, wanting to refute, but he pushed the treasure over. "Fine, old man, I lost." Now Liu was the house. Even in a draw with Sword Emperor, thousand-faced devil would still lose. "Kid, it's our turn." The old man wiped his brow, dragging his bleeding foot to Zhuo Fan with a forced smile. What welcomed him was a smirk. Chapter 1205, Headache. Chapter 1205, Headache. Proofreader, Papatonks. Looking down at the blood, the ghastly scene made even Ruby Cloud Sect's girls cover their eyes. It shocked them to the core to find someone so resolute to even harm themselves. Zhuo Fan looked back up, giving the old man a snicker. "Senior, you're playing hardball. Kid, youths have little experience. There are plenty of savager people in the world than me. You'll meet them later. Letting this little frighten you proves you have no place on this stage." "Ha ha ha, Sir's lesson is right. I hope Sir will go easy on me. You're making it hard for these old bones. The Sword Emperor must have that map. I urge you to withdraw. Kid, you don't understand the world of adults." The old man patronized Chu Qingcheng was worried for Zhuo Fan. He looked wise and bold, making her feel like a kid would be no match for him. "I just hope he won't push it and get hurt in the process." Zhuo Fan's eye held an eerie glow as he offered, "Please, kid, the young fear nothing, but will only end up broken. Ha ha ha." The old man stared at him, extending his wounded leg. "Kid, the same question. How many toes did I have on my 5000th birthday?" Zhuo Fan snickered. "With senior having 9, then it must be 9. Ha ha ha, kid, you think I wouldn't cut another off?" The old man drew his fingers and shot for the leg, and another bloody toe fell. The old man bore through the pain, looking smug. "Wrong, it's 8. The people sighed against such a question. No one could guess as long as he keeps cutting off his toes. The kid met his match in an aged scoundrel. Whoosh tilde. A black light flashed, and the old man Liu shook. Below him, blood spilled like a flood, followed by a searing pain. The old man howled as he fell to the ground, leaving 2 intact feet in the pooling blood. Zhuo Fan stood across, holding a black long sword glowing eerily. "I was wrong after all. I mustn't know anything, I guess. But it looks like Senior was wrong as well. You didn't have 8 toes on your 5,000th birthday, but none, ha ha ha. Everyone shivered as their eyes bugged out. The old guy was the Sword Emperor's representative, that nobody dared to offend. Now a bone-tempering nobody did. Wait, how did he get the strength to cut an emperor's feet off? Chu Ching Cheng was frightened. She never saw Zhuo Fan cut someone down, but the familiar scene had her hesitating. Is he the same brat I've been cursing all this time? Senior uncle, are you all right? Xu Zhensheng rushed to his side, then glared at Zhuo Fan. Why you dare? Zhuo Fan cut him off. What? Since Senior can change the outcome, why can't I? City Lord, how do we settle this round? Tai. The City Lord's face twitched, giving him an odd look. He didn't think this kid with low cultivation had it in him to be so cruel. Zhuo Fan grinned. I knew City Lord was fair. But that was his question, and now comes mine. Although, Senior doesn't look to be in shape to continue. Switch, maybe. Humph, rotten punk, I'll take his place to bet with you. Xu Zhensheng gnashed his teeth and stepped forward. He then felt his senior uncle pulling his sleeve as he lay in his own blood, looking worried. Senior uncle. Sheng, you're not his match. The old man was trembling as he looked at Zhuo Fan's vile smile. I was wrong. He's no youth, but a conniving old monster. Boy, you won't win. Xu Zhensheng couldn't believe his ears. He was a great peak stage spirit king, yet he couldn't win against a bone-tempering punk. The other youths on stage looked baffled. Only a few veterans caught his meaning. Mai Sangu as well could see that Zhuo Fan's eyes were beyond shifty. Her opinion of him changing into fright the slash was too clean and without hesitation, coming at an emperor no less. Such nerves and savagery didn't come from just anywhere. It was an edge forged in endless bloodshed and over a mountain of corpses. How could a bone-tempering cultivator wield such experience? The old man gripped Xu Zhensheng hard, gasping for breath as he gnashed his teeth. City Lord, we give up. You bet with him. Boy, this isn't over. I will get you for taking my 2 feet. Anytime. Zhuo Fan turned towards City Lord. Care to ask, City Lord? The City Lord looked grave. Steward Zhuo, now I know why you wield a clan's power, having the skills to handle the job. Thanks. Here's my question. The City Lord paused. This is the Nether Sea map. I want to know that if you got the map, how sure are you of finding it? Everyone flinched at the question, focused on the two with rapt attention as they waited for the answer. Zhuo Fan smiled. I didn't even see the map, so how sure I can be? Like with any treasure map, I'll be doing my best. Is that enough? A perfect answer, since this answer comes from your heart. Take it. The City Lord handed the map to Zhuo Fan. Looking over the aged paper, Zhuo Fan said, just like that. I've yet to ask my question. You're the house and have the highest chance of winning. Steward Zhuo's methods opened my eyes. I'm sure I can't answer it anyway. I lose, ha ha ha. The City Lord said. Zhuo Fan paused, then showed a vague smile as he stashed the map in his ring. Thanks. Zhuo Fan waved and left with his group. Under the hard stares of everyone there, one looked forlorn, stuck between women as she sighed. He won't even look at me once. On the road, Barley Yu looked back to see no one, smirking. Here I thought the map was something special, but we got it easy. Easy? Zhuo Fan chuckled. Easy meant those people in there wouldn't have bled for it. Didn't you notice how pained the representatives were when taking out the treasures? Since it's so important, why isn't there anyone tailing us? Because it's just a map and not something you can use either. It's common practice of those relics to see the prize before jumping in. After we find the Nether Sea, those bastards are sure to charge, all of them. Zhuo Fan sneered. The map is no treasure, but a headache. They're all waiting for us to find the real deal before robbing us blind. Even the gambling emperor is no exception. Why do you think he never tried looking for it then? He had the map. I bet he couldn't figure the map out, so he went to find another that can while he lurks from behind. Why then would the other 7 go through such trouble? The other emperors haven't looked over the map, and while they knew it was hard to understand it, they still want to try. Such is greed. If he did unravel it by any chance, wouldn't he get everything? Just like. Zhuo Fan trailed off back then. In 9 Serenities' tomb, he unraveled its mystery. Barley Yu nodded and said, since it's a headache, why did we fight for it? Couldn't we be another lurking shadow instead? Oh, Yu, the shadows are all seasoned and famed geezers. Our Luo clan has yet to make a name for itself in sacred domain. Why hide? We're only using the map to knock on the 8 emperors' doors and enter the fray. Without it, there's no way for us to enter the 8 great lands of the sacred domain. Oh, so that's why. Who do we go to first? The demonic emperor, Zhao Chen. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone, his smile evil. Chapter 1206, Honey Trap. Chapter 1206, Honey Trap. Proofreader, Papatonks. Zhuo Fan stood in the center of a pitch-black room. He took out a black sword as his right eye shone in 2 golden halos. Divine Eye of the Void's second stage, Void Annihilation. Bam! A ripple struck the sword, making it shiver. It then whooshed as it turned into a tanned child. Sword Child had regained its freedom. Master, you're letting me out at long last. I was wrong and it won't happen again. Sword Child bowed on the spot. Zhuo Fan stared at it with a critical eye. Then where were you wrong? I disrespected my betters and was hard on young Master San. He is Master's godson and I'm just a sword. It was a clear breach in status and deco dash. Please, how is that your mistake? Zhuo Fan barked. You see no difference between friend or foe, having no control. You're jealous and reckless. As my sword, you are closest to me. But with young Sanzi as my godson, you wanted to replace him. That's why you taunted him so much, backing him into a corner until you had no other choice than to go for the kill. Tell me I'm wrong. Sword Child was silent. Zhuo Fan continued. You know that everyone around me is a person I cherish, a comrade and a friend, treating the Sword Kings and Elder Li's group the same way. I don't want them to feel left out and harbor ill will, leading to conflict. In any society or group, its end is sure to come by wasting all its energy on infighting. The Swordstar Empire fell because of Bailey Jingwei's rampant expansion, leading to 2 groups of Sword Kings forming and clashing. Young Sanzi is one of us. I don't want my sword and my people to be at their throats, are we clear? Yes, Master. Don't call me Master, but Dad. Dad. Sword Child started. Zhuo Fan smiled. I told you, I don't want infighting, treating everyone as friends. You are born from my path, resembling me the most, and that makes you my son. Since you feel sour about young Sanzi, then I'll take you in as well, treating you both the same. He's your eldest brother, of equal status, and there's no reason to feel jealous. Yes, Father. Sword Child beamed. Zhuo Fan warned. One last thing, as my spitting image, you know my standards. Demonic cultivators need not only be demonic, but have principles as well. None of us may ever be allowed to be heavy-handed on our own regardless of reason. It's no different than smearing your heritage and your ancestors, taking it out on your own people. Remember demon scheming sect Xie Wuyue? If it were then that I've learned you had the same character as him, I wouldn't have been so light as your grandmaster was. Yes, Father. I'll focus on my mentality and achieve Tao like you. I won't let demons take hold of me. Sword Child stood straight as he vowed, nodding. Zhuo Fan patted his head and sighed. I can only hope. Creak tilde. Barley Yu slipped in. Steward Zhuo, someone's here for you. Who? Who else but a distressed damsel? Ching Cheng? Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow, then nodded. I'll go right now. Zhuo Fan was practically running, with Barley Yu rolling her eyes. Steward Zhuo, when do you plan on stealing that busybody from Ruby Cloud Sect? Not now. We're not ready to take on the 8 emperors in the open. Also, Zhuo Fan smiled, the Ruby Cloud Sect is where she grew up. Her heart is still there and using force is no different than killing her parents. She would hate me forever. Taking it one step at a time is better, starting with winning her heart. Once I ruin their ties, everything else will fall in place. Barley Yu rolled her eyes. How long will that take? I hear she's spoiled in the sect. All the elders favor her, even her master, that crone empress. That's what worries me. Those hags are conniving banshees. Ching Cheng has shown nothing extraordinary about her, so how could she have caught their eyes to such a degree? Zhuo Fan asked in a frown. Speaking of, I had Elder Li look into Ching Cheng's past. Any news? None so far. He said he'll start once we're safe out of Gambling Town. Tell him to do it now. The Gambling Emperor's group is watching over the town. No one will try anything under their watch. Zhuo Fan said, also, with my other son here, safety won't be an issue. Tell him to get on it right away. Zhuo Fan patted Barley Yuyu's shoulder and left. She raised an eyebrow, looking oddly at Sword Child. Son? You became a son as well? I can't. You might say that I've been with my father day in and day out, every minute of the hour. Sword Child showed her a toothy grin. Why, wanna be my mommy? Barley Yuyu flushed and looked away, feeling defeated. Why does he only ever care about her? Zhuo Fan reached the dazzling lounge, meeting with a hesitant Chu Qingcheng pacing around. Qingcheng, how did you get here? Zhuo Fan. His voice pulled her away from her worries and then she hung her head, her shoulder slumped. Zhuo Fan knew why. Is something wrong? Zhuo Fan. Just speak your mind, after all, there's no secret between husband and wife, right? How irritating, calling me your wife. Chu Qingcheng glared at him with red cheeks, but her sadness returned once more. Zhuo Fan, I just don't know where to begin. Senior Aunt Mai wants you to give us the map. Zhuo Fan's brow shook, giving her a long look. Qingcheng, you're putting me in a difficult position. You're my wife, yes, but the map belongs to my lord. I'm but a steward. Clan head saw greatness in me and took me in as steward. I could never betray his trust by taking what is his. I feel the same. Despite being a steward, you rely on others. Senior Aunt is asking for too much. Chu Qingcheng paused then gnashed her teeth. Forget it, you don't have to feel bad, Zhuo Fan. I'll just tell them I failed. It's only going to get me a nagging at most. Chu Qingcheng walked away but Zhuo Fan caught her shoulder. Wait, you're saying they're going to fault you for this? Yeah, Senior Aunt won't be hard on me, but my senior sisters will mock and deride me. Chu Qingcheng muttered. He took the forlorn Chu Qingcheng into his arms and said, my poor Qingcheng, my dear wife, what did you do to suffer so? Why don't you leave Ruby Cloud sect and live with me? How could I? Master and senior aunts are so nice to me. I can take a bit of scolding. I could never betray them. Zhuo Fan knew this was coming and faked difficulty. While I can't give them the map, as long as they'll give you to me, I'll have them take a look at it. I'll have you know I'm an established painter. Give me to you. Yeah, just mention it to them. It's their problem if they agree or not. It won't have anything to do with you and they won't scold you. Zhuo Fan snickered, holding her close and cooing, dear wife, I'm not saying that to demean you, only thinking of being together again. I would give anything for us to live together. Chu Qingcheng smiled, swooning. But then she scrutinized him. All right, but how did you cut Elder Liu's legs on the betting stage? You're not an emperor but a bone-tempering cultivator, I know. You must all be disgusted with me. No, ever since then, Senior Aunt Mai changed her opinion of you. How did you do it? Simple, really. Zhuo Fan snickered, speed, ferocity and accuracy. He was just ahead of me and complacent in his victory. I just needed something sharp enough and the result was clear to all. Not even a saint could escape from that. That can't be it. Senior Aunt said that a sword so fast could only be polished through mountains of corpses. How can you, at the bone-tempering stage? I'll be honest with you. I used to be a butcher. Zhuo Fan chuckled. Millions of pigs must have crossed these hands. Isn't that a mountain of corpses? Your senior aunt has good eyes. Ha ha ha. Chu Qingcheng nodded and exclaimed, I see, only there's a big difference between a murderer and a butcher. About the same, just look at people as pigs to the slaughter. You've been gone for quite a while now, should you head back? Tell them what I said and maybe we'll seal the knot. I'll become the mighty son-in-law of Ruby Cloud sect, ha ha ha. Annoying. Zhuo Fan urged Chu Qingcheng to leave, flirting while at it. Chu Qingcheng didn't mind it, just replying in good humor. Seeing her go, Zhuo Fan's face fell, gripping his fists. Rotten Ruby Cloud sect, trying to honey trap me with Qingcheng? What do you take my wife for? Bastards. Chapter 1207, Star Chart. Chapter 1207, Star Chart. Proofreader. Papatonks. In the nether sea's depth, the endless hellhold. Where lost souls roam, their fate foretold who dares to tread upon our shore. Shall be condemned to suffer more with mortal eyes forever blind. In the abyss, their souls confined. Schwanger held a black paper covered in squiggles in an elegant room, reading the first line at the top. Murong Shui and Luo Yunchang frowned. Murong Shui ventured, "These lines are supposed to unravel the Nether Sea map's secrets." "It should, but what do they mean?" Luo Yunchang held her forehead, feeling tired. "The map is covered in black dots that make no sense. The only clue is this verse. It's been 3 days already and we still couldn't find anything." Murong Shui shrugged. "If it were that easy, the gambling emperor wouldn't have wagered it." Zhuo Fan was right. If he couldn't read it, give it to someone else and reap the rewards while they fight. Regardless of who can read it, he would win in the end. It seems insidious experts aren't local to only mortal domain. The ones in sacred domain are each more twisted than the last. The other girls nodded. If there was one difference between sacred domain and mortal domain, that was power. The cruel and manipulative mentality was still thriving here as well. Creak tilde. The door opened and someone came in. "Schwanger, did you find anything?" "It's fine either way, we about to set off for Devil Mountain." "Sorry, big brother Zhuo, we can't do anything." "Don't let it bother you so much. You had the map for 3 days while the gambling emperor must have gotten it decades ago and still couldn't figure it out. It'd be stranger if you managed to do what an emperor couldn't." Zhuo Fan didn't mind it, taking the map and giving it a long look. "Whatever, I never planned on using it anyway. It's only a means to an end, to find that kid, Humph." Zhuo Fan folded the map. Schwanger jumped just then. "Wait." Zhuo Fan froze. "What?" "I think I got something." Schwanger yanked the map from his stiff hand and stared hard at a black circle in a corner. "Yes, why didn't I see it sooner? The black spots are just so many that this small area doesn't stand out at all." "This part is actually the Phoenix constellation," Zhuo Fan asked. "What's that?" The Phoenix constellation is a group of stars in the southeast corner of the night sky, focused on conflicts. A change there is chaos and fighting in the world. But with the star group being so large, how come it's so small on this map? If you hadn't folded it making it stand out, I wouldn't have seen it. You're saying this map covered in black dots is a star chart? Zhuo Fan opened the map again and gave it a careful look. He noticed some familiar star groups as well, just that it was hard to single them out with all the dark spots. Yes, the map is a depiction of stars but heavily concealed. That's why none of the other experts could read it. We now know it's a star chart, but how do we find the Nether Sea's location? Schwanger mulled it over then jumped. "Big brother Zhuo, didn't Patriarch give you that treasure? Didn't he say to use it whenever you're looking for something or someone?" "Right, I totally forgot about it. Since it's a star chart, Sovereign Yun, who is adept in reading stars, his treasure has to help." Zhuo Fan took out a black orb. How was he to use the two of them together though? The black orb came with an answer. The map showed a reaction as the orb appeared, giving off grey energy before vanishing. Zhuo Fan's eyes bugged out. "Where'd it go?" Tilde. The black orb flared black and trembled. Suddenly, all of their eyes went black and they fell flat on the floor. Waking up, they found themselves in a black area filled with stars. Where are we? What are we doing here? Luo Yunchang cried out. Zhuo Fan was calm. Since he had been here before, no need to panic, our spirits have gone into the orb. It won't harm us. Look, the map. Schwanger drew their attention and pointed at the map expanding to the point of covering the entire area. The small black circles on the map now had stars shooting between them, turning it into an actual map. Zhuo Fan cheered. "It's the sacred domain's map, but where's the Nether Sea?" "Over there, I think." Schwanger pointed at a bright cluster. The poem mentioned lost souls. "There is where the Death Star is, always dark and shining only when death is about to take you. Since it's bright, then that must be the Nether Sea's location, a place where lost souls are buried." Zhuo Fan was thrilled. Yes, that must be it. To think we'd figure it out in the end where the Nether Sovereign is. It was worth taking the map, ha ha ha. The girls were beaming as well, with Schwanger looking worried. "Big brother Zhuo, do you plan to go there?" "Of course. A sovereign's place is a special area anyone in sacred domain would drool over. Nether Sea is going to be very dangerous." Schwanger sighed, raising a finger. "Big brother Zhuo, look closer." What do you think this map is? Zhuo Fan raised his head and shook as his face grew hard with the stars on the map joined together. They drew the map of the sacred domain. But on the edge of it, they showed only one character, death. Zhuo Fan, the Nether Sovereign is warning us not to seek out the Nether Sea, or, Luo Yunchang looked worried as well. Zhuo Fan paused in thought then smiled. Well, of course a sovereign's seat of enlightenment would have some difficulties. Am I just going to miss out on this grand chance at witnessing the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment? Zhuo Fan. Alright now, let's go back. Luo Yunchang wanted to say more, but Zhuo Fan stopped her. He had them brought back to their bodies and the black orb hummed. Releasing the map, they got up and looked at the map with conflicted emotions. Zhuo Fan picked it up casually and placed it in his ring, but then doubt clouded his mind. Why did Sovereign Yun's treasure react with the Nether Sea map? He also warned me that his treasure can find any place and anyone. Qing Cheng is the one I wanted to find. As for the place, maybe it's... Zhuo Fan felt like someone was using him. Knock tilde. Ahum, Steward Zhuo, young Miss Chu came. I got it, Elder Li. Zhuo Fan put away the orb and left. The girls watched him while recalling the Nether Sovereign's warning and worried again. They even forgot about their jealousy. Zhuo Fan reached the lounge and saw Chu Qing Cheng and put on a smile. Ha ha ha, wifey, it looks like we're made for each other. Are you ready for a long night with your husband? Miscreant. Chu Qing Cheng blushed and huffed. Zhuo Fan said, wait, they didn't agree? Regardless of what, I'm not something. Chu Qing Cheng pouted and so they were alone and whispered, Zhuo Fan, senior aunt Mai said to give the map first, even a copy. As for us, she needs to return to the sect and tell master before. Chu Qing Cheng looked embarrassed, acting all shyly. Zhuo Fan's eyes went cold. That biddy plans on welshing out of the deal. But I'm not one to lose my head in front of a girl and fall for that. Zhuo Fan didn't let his thoughts show. Alright, I'll bring it right away. Zhuo Fan was gone for moments, bringing a delicate box. Give it to my Sangu. What she wants is in there. Truly. Of course, our happiness is there as well. Zhuo Fan smiled. Chu Qing Cheng beamed and nodded as she left. But after a step, she paused and pecked his cheek. Running away with a flushed face, Zhuo Fan felt his cheek with a goony smile. Chapter 1208. The Draw Map. Chapter 1208. The Draw Map. Proofreader. Papa Tonks. Senior aunt, I brought it. Chu Qing Cheng bounced happily in a courtyard, calling in joy. The hopeful women had waited a long time to hear this. They welcomed her with my Sangu in the lead, looking pleased and greedy. Fang Minute and the others behind her were boiling in envy. Qing Cheng, you've done well. Where is it? Here. Chu Qing Cheng beamed and my Sangu took the box with haste, her entire body shaking. Fang Min's tone dripped with vitriol. The day finally came. Junior sister's first honey trap mission. Though she lacks passion, only ending up with a copy instead of the real thing. I would have done it hands down. Senior sister, I didn't use any traps. We truly. Chu Qing Cheng lowered her head bashfully. Besides, the map is definitely with the clan head. If it went missing, he'll have to answer for it. He's already taking enough risk giving us a copy. We can't just. My Sangu was upright and honorable as she nodded. Yes, the boy shows his deep affection by doing this. We shouldn't be hard on him, since he couldn't do it anyway. It's good we at least got a copy, ha ha ha. My Sangu grinned from ear to ear as she was eagerly opening the box. Senior aunt, what do you think then of his request? I'll tell senior sister once we get back. No rush. We'll do as senior aunt says. Chu Qing Cheng gave a sweet smile, lowering her head and fiddling with her clothes. She was like a chipper child that couldn't show her enthusiasm. Fang Minute seethed at the side. What's so great about being with some ignorant and lousy punk? That's no reason to be content. Hey! A weird shout drew Fang Min's attention. Looking over with joy, what is it, senior aunt, is the map bad? No way. Zhuo Fan wouldn't lie to me. Chu Qing Cheng started and rushed to see. She didn't worry about the map though, but that this would get her senior aunt to flip out. My Sangu had a deep frown, holding a shriveled paper with yellow lines on it. It looked like a map, sure, but a map of what? All those random lines made it hard to decipher. I knew the Nether Sea was cryptic, but to think that not even I can make sense of any of it. Senior aunt, you actually believe it to be real? Fang Minute looked it over, Maybe the punk just drew something random. Few have seen the Nether Sea map, with neither one among us. It'd be strange not to fool us. Chu Ching Cheng jumped in his defense. Senior aunt, Zhuo Fan was thoughtful the entire time, and even promised me to do his best in copying it to make sure it's identical. Senior sister is just making things up. I'm making it up. You tell me then, what kind of map is that? We can't make anything of it. Minna. My Sangu glared, taking the map with joy. The fact you can't makes it real. The Nether Sea would have been a famous attraction by now if everyone could read it. I can also feel the kid's sincerity through this copy. Ah, what do you mean, senior aunt? Look, there's not a mark of a brush being used when drawing it. It's not uneven like others. My Sangu held her head high as she claimed, if he was faking it, then he would have left clear signs of drawing. With the Nether Sea being so special, there's no way the map was drawn with a brush. The more mystical the lines, the more genuine it is and proves his sincerity. These yellow stains as well, that must be where the Nether Sea is. All that's left is reading it. My Sangu paraded the map before the girls, leaving them speechless. Staring at the random and fading lines had them baffled. Chu Ching Cheng looked pleased as Punch Tho Ua. Fang Minute reeled, feeling like throwing up her lunch. She pointed at the map. What the hell did the punk use? That paper reeks of pee. Really? My Sangu gave it a sniff then flinched with a wince. Yeah, just what did he use? It doesn't look like ink at all. Chu Ching Cheng panicked, but she couldn't allow this hiccup to make her senior aunt loathe Zhuo Fan, so she changed the subject. Senior aunt, Zhuo Fan said using ink was out of the question when making the Nether Sea map copy. Think about it, ink is black and wouldn't be able to outline such vague and mystical drawing. So he went through toil and pain to find a famous and perfect color to match it. Senior aunt, he's very sincere. Really? My Sangu raised an eyebrow, giving the map another look and nodded. Yes, it's hard to show the same result with ink and brush. The kid must have gone above and beyond to make this map. We'll set off tomorrow for the sect to hand over the map to sect leader. I believe she will be thrilled and will reward you greatly, especially you, Ching Cheng, ha ha ha. Fang Minute sneered in envy. Ching Cheng beamed and eased a breath. With this achievement, Master shouldn't care about Zhuo Fan's background. On the second day, bright and early, the Ruby Cloud sect set off with their copy through sheer and utter coincidence. However, the Luo clan happened to be at the city gates as well. Get ready for battle. Zhuo Fan was grave as he whispered to Barley Yuyu at his side, don't leave the hag out of your sight. Don't go easy, but don't go killing either. Barley Yuyu nodded, eager to fight. My Sangu beamed upon noticing them, showing an even greater respect for Zhuo Fan, going as far as greeting them all. Luo friends, are you leaving as well? What a coincidence, we're going too. Do we have the same direction as well? Probably not. Zhuo Fan started, looking out of sorts. Did they not look over the copy I gave them? Why are they so cordial and even greeting me? Barley Yuyu looked stumped at him. Weren't we up for a brawl? They see us more like friends than anything, without a shred of ill will. The Luo clan looked clueless as my Sangu showed a bright smile and cupped her hands at Zhuo Fan, practically rejuvenated on the spot. Steward Zhuo, you're so young and able. I believe we will have many chances to work together in the future. Farewell. My Sangu left in a grand manner with her disciples. Chu Ching Cheng came before Zhuo Fan, winking and leaving in elation. A faint whisper happened to reach his sharp ears. Don't worry, senior aunt is pleased with you. We'll definitely succeed. Pleased? She's actually happy with my map. Zhuo Fan was floored, not registering as the girls left. The others were even more so. Zhuo Fan, didn't you say the hag would be hounding us through the city to kill us after seeing the map? We even had to get up so early for it. Why then was she pleased as punch? Barley Yuyu patted his shoulder. Maybe she'd be a real catch, if she shed off a couple, or more, 1,000 years. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath. Something's off here. The hag saw my handiwork and didn't get angry? What handiwork? Just how did you draw it anyway? How? Didn't all of us learn how to draw since we were kids? Zhuo Fan looked awkwardly, mimicking some motions before giving up. Barley Yuyu was still clueless. When did we ever draw? I never raised a brush in my life, so how can I draw? Hey, sword child, what did your dad mean? Sword Child happened to pass over and she asked him. Sword Child showed a rather obtuse smile. To be my true mother, you must then understand how Dad draws. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? That I saw Dad take some random paper and whizzed on it. He waved it a couple of times to dry, then put it in the box. Sword Child snickered with a shrug. I'm but a sword spirit, so I've never drawn in my life. You, humans, don't you pee since you were kids? You don't even know this. Dong. Barley Yu froze in place, looking at Zhuo Fan, now understanding as to why he thought that the hag would want him dead. Anyone in their right mind would explode being toyed like that, especially a senior. But is that hag slow in the head not to clobber it? I can barely hold back. Chapter 1209, Trouble Ahead. Chapter 1209, Trouble Ahead. Proofreader, Papatonks. Steward Zhuo, I feel a lot of eyes on us after leaving the city. An hour on the rough road, and old man whispered in Zhuo Fan's ear. Zhuo Fan nodded. With the map with us, they won't stop spying on us until it's gone. Some think ahead while others will go for it on our way. We might have picked a long tail, but few of them will ever attack us. It doesn't matter. Yes. The old man left to walk with the others. 2 hours later, they arrived at a lofty mountain range. As the wind whistled, it signaled the arrival of men in black, in the hundreds. The leader had a familiar face, none other than the demonic emperor's representative. Thousand-faced devil Zhuo Fan welcomed him with a smile and a shake of the head, like master like servants. I said Zhao Chen is fickle and impulsive, and his men are no different. Steward Zhuo, Luo clan. Thousand-faced devil ignored his complaints as he greeted with cupped hands. We have no bad blood between us. I know you are a grand clan and wish to be cordial still. In that regard, I hope you will offer up the Nether Sea map. I won't forget such a favor. Zhuo Fan smiled, walking forward and returning the gesture. Senior, would gladly offer anything else if it means befriending you, but as it happens, the Nether Sea map isn't anything, but something won through our blood and sweat on the gambling stage. There's no reason at all to give it to you, senior, sorry. Steward Zhuo, spare me the empty pleasantries. I won't buy it. Thousand-faced devil eyed the rest, turning cruel. I don't know how tough the Luo clan is, or how many experts it has, but from what I see, the only one able to fight me is the miss who met my Sangu. As for the rest, 20 spirit kings won't matter against my 100. You will all die. Steward Zhuo must have earned your position with your guile, so you should know this as well. Zhuo Fan was unmoved. Senior, you mean that no matter what will incur from it, you still have to rob us? Yes, I don't know your limits, but it can't be worse than suffering the demonic emperor's wrath. He will be sure to take my life if I don't return with the map. Since death is certain, in either case, I at least have some chance going against you, right? Yes, the unknown is scary, but it's also uncertain and, by extension, survivable. You're gambling. We have no backing at the level of the 8 emperors, so attacking us won't be an issue. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone. Congratulations, you win. We really aren't at the 8 emperors level. Your plan to pick on the weak is a success, but too bad you're the weaker one in this situation and made the wrong call. You don't have enough men to take us on. Thousand-faced devil sized them all up, laughing. Steward Zhuo, bluffing now, are you? Yes, the peak stage spirit king young miss is comparable to an emperor without a doubt, but don't go telling me you have more of such monsters. At the same cultivation, the strengths of everyone is almost the same, which makes it a matter of numbers. That is where you lose. Quality, not quantity, is what the Luo clan favors. Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan snickered and patted Sword Child's head. Son, bring me his head, intact. Yes, father. Sword Child bowed and took 2 steps forward, his eyes glimmering. Thousand-faced devil gasped. You're sending a child to take my head? What a joke. Whoosh tilde. Black flashed in front of him. With a faint breeze, the sharp sword wave flared across his forehead. Thousand-faced devil was startled, ducking just inches from the attack, taking some hair and leaving him soaked in sweat. The strands drifting in the wind, but then came the second strike. Fearful as he was now, a whirlwind kick came from below, aiming to relieve him of his head. Thousand-faced devil felt death nearing and leaned sideways to dodge and jump 1,000 meters back, away from the danger. Looking ahead, The sight shocked him stiff. The one who almost took his life was none other than the scrawny child. His kick did not touch him, but the force behind it unleashed a sword wave that reaped 10 lives. The bodies turned to mist, cutting 1,000-faced devils 100 spirit kings to 90 SSS tilde. Gasping, everyone went pale. 1,000-faced devil was shaken to the core, his bravery gone as he looked at sword child in utter dread. It was beyond him how a 7-year-old wielded such deadly power. Is he even human? 1,000-faced devil felt his worldview come crashing down on him. Sword child was, of course, a sovereign weapon, sharp and deadly. Not even a sacred beast could match his toughness, let alone humans. Boy, you're quite springy for an old man. Sword child huffed, snickering at 1,000-faced devil. The latter felt his skin crawl, then noticed the casual Luo clan Bali Yuyu, the pseudo-emperor, didn't lift a finger, with only the little freak causing so much damage. This made it so the Luo clan had 2 emperor-level experts and would be deadly if the others joined as well. His advantage in this highway robbery had now flown out the window. 1,000-faced devil sighed, thinking of backing off, but a look at the glaring Bali Yuyu and sword child told him he had to pay for starting this. At least an emperor had an emperor's advantage. One a spirit king couldn't cover. 1,000-faced devil's eyes flashed and he made a sign. As his hands moved, ghastly faces appeared in the air. Imperial mark, 1,000 faces slaughter. 1,000-faced devil flew in the air and then vanished. The wind stirred and 1,000 golden, 100-meter tall ghastly faces appeared from above. Here, now you know why they call me 1,000-faced devil. 1,000-faced devil was hidden among those faces, cackling. My imperial mark is made of a spirit king level soul attack for every face, not a full attack but 80% strong at the very least. Now I have 1,000-men army. Boy, your monsters might be tough and can live through this, but what about the rest? Especially you, Steward Zhuo, and your young miss. You're too weak and an easy target. Know when to give up. Hand over the map. Bam! Sword child waved and smashed a face in disdain, nothing but parlor tricks, crumbling at a touch. Hi, I told you, it's not for you too. With your strength, you can beat one. But what about 1,000? Also, my faces can reform after beaten. How long will you last, I wonder? Following his creepy laughter, another face formed, completing the set of 1,000. Sword child waved, making the air warp from the heat. Then let's see which will last longer, your faces or my searing strikes. Humph, decimating sword art, rampant inferno. Who tilde? Fires sparked to life out of nowhere throughout the sky, making the faces tremble and crumble to dust. The 1,000 faces were burned to nothing in an instant, with incessant cackling still coming from above, only this time, it was one of agony. Sword child showed his evil side as he sneered, now you know what I'm made of. Don't move. A shout caught their attention as a boiling hand grabbed Shuofan's neck. Chapter 12:10, 2 heads. Chapter 12:10, 2 heads. Proofreader. Papatonks. Huff tilde. 1,000-faced devil panted hard with a wan and sweaty face, a clear sign of weakness. Sword child and Bali Yuyu flinched, only to relax the next moment upon seeing he picked Shuofan of all the targets, not registering the casualness the others had. 1,000-faced devil roared, give me the nether sea map or it's off with his head. He gripped Shuofan's neck tighter. The Luo clan didn't seem to care much. Did you not hear me? Even in the bone tempering stage, isn't he still your steward? Don't you care if he lives or dies? Splitting art, so you're a former assassin, senior. 1,000-faced devil grew tense at the unexpected reactions, or lack thereof. The one to finally give him any attention at all was the same one who he held hostage, splitting your spirit into many to confuse the enemy, then snatching victory amidst the chaos. It must be quite the skill indeed for not even I to pick up on it. It also gives the enemy the chance to break them down one at a time. Knowing the spirit is exposed, even at the Spirit King level, it's still very fragile. Showing such weakness can be fatal in an Emperor stage battle. The devil met Shuofan's taunting eyes and snapped, what do you know of such a high-level battle? Shut your trap or I'll snap your neck. Ha ha ha, you should have done that from the start, when you had the chance. A shame an assassin should be focusing on speed and killing, not on taking hostages. You doomed your assassin profession the instant you left killing aside. 1,000-faced devil gave him a long look, clueless about where he was getting at. I'm an emperor and I'm supposed to kill a bug like him from the start? I control his life and can take it whenever I want. Why? Crack. The snapping sound made thousand-faced devil shiver, feeling his hand going numb and him being unable to move it. His eyes grew wide as he saw Zhuo Fan's right hand glowing red and gripping the same arm tight like clamps. How can? Thousand-faced devil's face twitched, wanting to squeeze his fingers and crush Zhuo Fan's neck. A shame his hand was frozen, unable to budge. It was, in fact, pulled away by an incredible force, out of his control. Yu. Thousand-faced devil gawked at the hand gripping his, then at Zhuo Fan's creepy smile. Fear took its hold on his mind, roaring, "How can you have such power? A bone-tempering cultivator. Ha ha ha, I told you, your assassin career is at an end." Zhuo Fan's eyes grew cold and he snapped his Chilean arm to the side. Thousand-faced devil's weakened body snapped from the shoulder as he flew away without his arm, leaving a bloody trail. Whoosh. Before he got to taste the agony of having his arm yanked out of his socket, something black flashed in front of his horrified eyes, a sword slash. Whoosh. A head rolled in the air, falling in a small hand. Thousand-faced devil's headless body spurted blood for a few moments, then plopped. His men saw their boss offed like nothing and lost all courage, flying away in panic. Zhuo Fan's group let them go, holding them in disdain. Of all the people here, taking Steward Zhuo hostage is like signing your own death warrant. Dad, here's his head. Sword Child presented the shocked and terrified head to Zhuo Fan. He nodded and put it in his ring before signaling the others to resume their journey. Minutes after they left, many men in black appeared at this bloodbath, before vanishing once more in a manner in Mist City. The city lord heard the scouts' report and turned pensive. You're telling me the Luo clan had an easy time dealing with Thousand-Faced Devil's team? They definitely aren't a normal group to not care about the demonic emperor's opinion. Have you found anything about them? City lord, we've long since sent people to Joy Town, and there is such a clan there. But with the location being so remote, it'll be hard to find anything from their past. From the passing traders, we did find that the town has been around for thousands of years, far from the secular world and from the power struggles of the sacred domain. Why would this monster rise up now of all times, after thousands of years? And so flashy too. The city lord paused. I'll need to report this to the gambling emperor. Something isn't right about this group, messing with the 8 emperor's people and even stealing their things. 2 months later, in a dark hall, only a pair of eerie eyes were seen coming from the seat of honor, with the city lord kneeling below, reporting Gambling Town's events. A bright smile appeared below the eyes. Ha ha ha, how amusing. Of all the famed 8 emperors, none won my gamble. The victor turned out to be some unknown clan from nowhere. Gambling Emperor, the Luo clan has many people of great talent. Their steward, Zhuo Fan, has low cultivation yet holds such a position. His conduct is calm and calculative, while the guards are firm and resolute. They're more than meets the eye. Of course, while life is a constant fight and luck plays a large role, by lacking strength as well, luck can only get you so far. I could never look down on such a clan. Ha ha ha. The gambling emperor smiled, so they killed the demonic emperor's men, inciting the butcher. What will his reply be? If they hold an emperor's power, they have no reason to fear. Otherwise, their choice is to seek their backer or find shelter with the other 7. This will make the next owner of the map known. Where will they go then? The city lord bowed. Gambling emperor, the scouts following them say they're going toward Devil Mountain. What? Gambling emperor finally showed a reaction, the eyes stunned for a moment. Having killed his men, the demonic emperor is bound to hunt them down till the end of days, and yet they're knocking at his door. What's the Luo clan up to? They believe that they have the power to fight with the demonic emperor and settle it. The gambling emperor frowned, with the city lord unable to provide an answer. Meanwhile, a lavish and jaded jar crumbled as it met the hard floor. An imposing youth wore a scowl in anger as he jumped to his feet and stared down at the shivering men in black below. Not only did you not get the Nether Sea map from Gambling Town, but of those I sent, one is missing and the other got killed by some nameless and unknown little group, no less? Demonic Emperor sir, the Luo clan is a mystery that we can't deal with, one man ventured, shaking like a leaf. Unlike Zhuo Fan's calculative and deceitful nature, Zhao Chen was more of a petty and impulsive prick. Once in power, he never stopped lusting for more, expanding his domain. His handling was cruel as well. Worse than Zhuo Fan, his reckless reputation sent fear in his enemies, but also his men. Zhao Chen gave them a sinister smile. Can't deal with it? Thousand-faced devil took 100 spirit kings yet couldn't handle one lousy clan? What use do I have of you then? Garbage. Zhao Chen roared, and the one who reported got split into bloody chunks with a splat. The others trembled in terror. Sir, please calm down. Humph, every day I hear the same thing. You only had to show a bit of courage and do what I told you to, and I wouldn't have to take my rage on you. Zhao Chen flicked his sleeve. What of the Luo clan? Where are they? We don't know. You don't? Demonic Emperor, sir. They killed thousand-faced devil and we didn't try. Garbage. Zhao Chen threw his hand and more than 10 people went splat, covering the floor in blood and gore. The rest cowered back. A voice came from outside. Demonic Emperor, someone's here to seek an audience bearing gifts. Gifts? Zhao Chen was curious. Bring it here. 2 boys walked in with 2 exquisite boxes and placed them on the ground. Zhao Chen flicked a finger and 2 bloody heads were revealed. Chapter 12:11, Protection. Chapter 12:11, Protection. Proofreader. Papatonks. Zhao Chen stared at the familiar faces, his shocked voice breaking the brief silence. Thousand-faced devil, Huangfu Song? What are their heads doing here? Guard, who brought them here? Demonic Emperor, sir. They call themselves the Luo clan of Joy Town and are outside the mountain waiting to see you. A guard rushed in, looking fretful in the face of Zhao Chen's rage. Zhao Chen's face twitched in disbelief. Luo clan, as in the same one? They dare bring my men's heads. They've gone too far. Seize them and drag them in here. I want to see what the hell they are up to. Yes. His men went to follow his orders and brought a man and a woman surrounded by black guards into the hall. Looking at his old place, it took Zhuo Fan back to the good old days. The only thing spoiling his reminiscing was seeing Zhao Chen unchanged after thousands of years. He showed a savage grin, yet bearing no hatred. Zhao Chen shivered as their eyes met, feeling an uncanny familiarity. His heart began to race with fear and even staggered back. One man in black bowed. Demonic Emperor, sir. They are the Luo clan's people that brought the heads. We await your orders. Leave. Zhao Chen never took his eyes off Zhuo Fan, losing all his anger as he gave a numb wave. All of you leave. Right. The men shared puzzled looks, finding Demonic Emperor's demeanor off, like he wasn't himself. It was their first time hearing his kind voice, so they left on the double. Zhuo Fan, Barley Yuyu and Zhao Chen were the only ones left, as well as the bloody floor with the corpses. Zhuo Fan smiled at the stiff face, cupping his hands. Demonic Emperor, your reputation precedes you. I am Steward Zhuo of the Luo clan. Here is my guard, Barley Yuyu. It's an honor to finally meet the great Demonic Emperor. Your name feels familiar. Zhao Chen squinted, lost for a moment before saying, not just the name, but also the character. No, it's not the same. He was never one to be casual, and never lowered himself to become some steward. No, it's definitely impossible for a dead guy, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan smiled. Demonic Emperor, what are you saying? Nothing. Zhao Chen snapped back to reality, his face going cold as he stared at the heads. Steward Zhuo, was it? What is the meaning of this? Your show of force, or challenge? No, Demonic Emperor, sir, this is the clan head's gift. He wishes for you to gladly accept it. Gift? You kill my men and bring me their heads and you call it a fricking gift? Bam! Zhao Chen slammed the table in anger. No one does that. Explain yourself, or not only will you meet your end here, but the entire Luo clan will be wiped out. I'll take all your heads to trample them on the way to hell. Who tilde? Zhao Chen's explosive aura swept the hall, making Barley Yuyu shiver back. The 8 emperors are way stronger than common emperors. Zhuo Fan faced the pressure, shouting as well, Demonic Emperor, sir, please hear us out. After that, you're free to take our heads without any complaint. Speak. Zhao Chen eyed them, stretching his collar. Zhuo Fan smiled. Demonic Emperor, sir, did you perhaps send someone to attack the Ruby Cloud Sect's disciples and steal their purple gold glazed cup? No. Zhao Chen said casually. After a moment Zhuo Fan beamed. I thought so as well. The demonic emperor would never stoop as low as do something like this to the Ruby Cloud sect leader, one of the 8 emperors. It would not only stain your name but would make another strong enemy without any reason. Why ever go through all that grueling trouble? But he announced himself as one of demonic emperor's aides, dropping Sir's name while saying it was your idea all along. I did not want him to yammer on and make Sir's life worse, so I was swift in removing this bandit, to preserve Sir's name. Was I wrong? Zhuo Fan pointed at the first head, smiling. Zhao Chen was non-committal. And thousand-faced devil? Demonic Emperor, sir, was it not you who instigated the Demon Light Castle issue 3 years back, making Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor wage war, gaining the most in the process? Nonsense. That was their own problem born from their animosity. What does that have to do with me? Zhao Chen's heart sank, denying everything. Zhuo Fan gave a natural nod, but of course, Demonic Emperor Sir could have never have done such a thing. Thousand-faced devil must have run his mouth in Gambling Town, making you the scapegoat. Now Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor joined hands to deal with you. I could not stand letting such a man live any longer. What? Zhao Chen darkened, then flicked his hand. Fine, let those geezers come. I'm not scared of them. Zhuo Fan made a deep gesture of respect. Demonic Emperor Sir is so heroic, with those 2 beneath you. But what about 3 or 4 emperors? Ha ha ha, fear not an able opponent but an incompetent ally. With a foul aide like Thousand-Faced Devil and the other poisoning the well outside and earning Sir enemies, Sir is bound to become public enemy number 1. No one can face entire crowds by himself, even someone as heroic as Sir. Zhao Chen's face twitched, his fists clenched, his teeth grinding. As such, we took it upon ourselves and did Sir a favor by removing these scumbags. Didn't we do Sir a great favor? Zhuo Fan beamed. Zhao Chen stared into his eyes, still looking uneasy. These dogs might be in the wrong, but only I get to punish them, and not an outsider. With them dead, my forces weakened. How am I to handle it then? Demonic Emperor Sir, out with the old, in with the new. It's no trouble at all if they're gone, not when you have the Luo clan to fill in the gap. Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan gave a weird smile, bowing. Our clan head admires the Demonic Emperor's heroism, wishing to stand among the 8 emperors since young. So we came to join you. I ask that Demonic Emperor gives us a spot. Of course we're not going to be like those 2 boneheads, for we are far superior than them in every way, be it in strength or handling matters. This way, they didn't die to outsiders, but removing the filth in Sir's stead. Zhao Chen shook hard, gasping, You want my protection? Of course, there's no reward without effort. Which is why we went out of our way to showcase our results and receive Sir's protection. Zhuo Fan's hand shone and took out an aged paper. He offered it with 2 hands, making Zhao Chen jump in joy. The Nethersea map? Yes, we know Sir wants it and went through hell and high water to bring it to Sir. Zhuo Fan smiled, glancing at the ghastly heads with derision. Also, this is our chance to prove our use to Sir. The 2 lost their lives and couldn't get it while we did. I am confident Sir would be pleased to have us. Zhuo Fan nodded as he smiled wildly, but then he hesitated. Why is it you chose me of all the 8 emperors? And don't tell me it's out of admiration or some flowery speech. I want the truth. Demonic Emperor Sir is a man of many values. I knew we made the right choice. The 2 shared a nod before Zhuo Fan turned to Zhao Chen. I'll be perfectly honest. The Luo clan has been hiding in Joy Town for millennium. To come out of that hole, we needed an emperor on our side. We had to make a choice from among them. Sir can also see that with our strength it'd be easy to have any emperor's favor. The first that took our notice was, of course, the head of the 8 emperors, the Sword Emperor. Alas, Sword Emperor has the highest demands and the greatest power. Like they say, it's better to be a leader among men than a grunt among giants. We feared that we had no room to grow under the Sword Emperor, giving up. As for the rest, they're all geriatric and washed up, pedantic and outdated, hardly able to help us rise among their people. Only Demonic Emperor Sir, with your youthful valor, is the perfect choice to work for, your right hand. Chapter 12:12, Give and Take. Chapter 12:12, Give and Take. Proofreader, Papatonks. Zhao Chen approved as he nodded, elated at the praise. Good eye. I see your clan head is an educated man. I'm not one to brag, but among the 8 emperors, only I have such strength and right to be the head among all emperors. It's only a matter of time before the decrepit sword emperor will be replaced. That's what our clan head's been saying as well, although, yes, we killed 2 of Sir's men and going to another emperor would keep us safe, if only for a while before we'll suffer your retribution. Being the target of the demonic emperor's wrath is like having a viper stalking you. We'll never get a wink of sleep. Only under Sir's protection could we be friends instead and resolve this animosity. Zhuo Fan sighed. Regardless of everything, our best choice had and always will be demonic emperor. Zhao Chen gave him a long look. Good thinking and impeccable analysis. Yes, you've made the perfect choice in coming here with these fools' heads. Who was it, though, that came up with this brilliant tactic? Zhao Chen's eyes shone. Somewhat eager demonic emperor sir, Steward Zhuo is our clan head's trusted man. With him helping clan head every step, it is only his duty to help clan head make a decision. That was Barley Yuyu's cue and she came forward with a cupped hand. Zhuo Fan shook his head in modesty. Please, I only offered simple advice. Clan head had the final say. Steward Zhuo, take credit where it's due. As a bone-tempering cultivator, to stand next to clan head is only possible by showcasing your impressive talent. Barley Yuyu mocked. Demonic Emperor sir, please overlook Steward Zhuo's poultry cultivation, for in the Luo clan, he even has clan head's ear. Otherwise, clan head's inclination would be towards the sword emperor with so many of our clan's guards practicing the sword. Hey! Zhao Chen stared hard at Zhuo Fan, only then noticing he was dealing with a bug belying his low cultivation. The guy was very well placed, in fact. This further proved his talents lay elsewhere. From what the woman says, the guy must be quite the deep thinker. Blasted, that's exactly the talent I'm missing. Zhao Chen walked forward taking Zhuo Fan's hand with a smile. Ha ha ha, it's so rare to find a true strategist these days, Steward Zhuo. I truly need someone like you for Devil Mountain. Leaving it up to those fools will run all its millennium-long legacy into the ground. Demonic Emperor sir, you're too kind. Then the Luo clan. Say nothing more. Of the 20 demon guards, 36 cities, and 64 clans, as you replaced 1,000-faced devil, you shall be above every one of them. Zhao Chen slapped his chest, vowing, I shall declare the Luo clan as my loyal subjects, with Steward Zhuo my right-hand man. Any that touches you will earn my wrath. Demonic Emperor sir, shouldn't it be clan head who has my position? What's the difference? You help Luo clan head and he helps me. Isn't it all the same? Why be so complicated about it? That goes beyond my authority. Shouldn't sir address clan head first? What's the point? What I say goes. Guard, prepare a feast to welcome Steward Zhuo. Devil Mountain was all a cheer for the next 3 days, with Zhao Chen giving Zhuo Fan a proper welcome. He also declared to all sacred domain that the Luo clan fell in with Devil Mountain. The Luo clan became the leader of the 20 demon guards and Zhuo Fan became Zhao Chen's personal advisor. Another 10 days passed and Zhao Chen gave 20 towns under the Luo clan's supervision. Zhuo Fan and Bailey Yuyu thus took their leave from Demonic Emperor. To help the Luo clan handle the transition leaving the mountain, Zhuo Fan looked back at the lush peak and sighed, I used to be all alone, with but a few arrays guarding the mountain. I never thought I'd see the day it would be crowded, no longer the paradise of old. That kid hasn't changed, in contrast, still fighting for power like everyone else. Humph, to think that in my time, even without any territory of my own, I was still the head of the 8 emperors. Imbecile, what are you doing going after so many things? You've brought nothing but shame to this famous mountain. What are you doing coming under his wing then? Barley Yuyu replied, shouldn't we be using others to finish him off? Now that we work for him, we're under his men's watch and won't be able to lift a finger against him. Zhuo Fan smirked, in war you have to give first and then take. Any person or faction crumbles from within in the end, with the outside influence holding little effect on its fate. We are now like maggots inside his home, nibbling everything he has. Don't the 20 cities prove it? Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan walked with confidence. Barley Yuyu followed after him with a soft gaze. In Gambling Town, The shocking news of the Luo clan joining demonic emperor reached everyone's ears in Mist City Lord's manor. The gambling emperor held a jade slip behind a curtain. Luo clan actually became the demonic emperor's first demon guard? This is too baffling, almost unbelievable. Gambling emperor, they must have offered the map to quell demonic emperor's anger. No. Gambling emperor waved, watching City Lord from beyond the curtain. I know his temper well, reckless, pig-headed, and quick to anger. The most the Luo clan could get out of that deal is survive, not become his guard, going as far as making him the head of his 20 demon guards. It makes no sense at all for a rash and hot-headed man to swing from rage to elation at the drop of the hat. Especially that demonic emperor. Does that mean the Luo clan got a high status in Devil Mountain through other means? Definitely, for even giving the map without the animosity, they'd still wouldn't get placed so high. The deal stinks to high heaven. The gambling emperor squinted. Did the demonic emperor also mention in his declaration that he made the Luo clan's steward his right-hand man? Yes, that's him, but it's so strange. The Luo clan is now the first demon guard and its representative should be their clan head, not the steward. Then everything must have had something to do with that steward. The gambling emperor smiled. How amusing, the steward is fascinating. Men, never leave him out of your sight. I want to know the full extent of his skills and what miracles he brings. Ha ha ha. Yes. The space warped. In a dark room, 2 shadows sat across from each other. Did you hear? That arrogant Luo clan that was in Gambling Town got the demonic emperor's protection. And, aren't we going to act? Of course we are, but everything about the Luo clan is strange. Anything could happen. What's so great about some no-name clan showing up? Demonic emperor made us lose half our lands. We have to take it back, on our titles as emperors. I heard that the 7 sacred mountains intends to move on to the 8 emperors. One of the weaker ones might even get replaced. Then. The man hesitated. Fine, then if we have to strike, we'll go after the demonic emperor. The Luo clan wants to have a protector to spread its wings, but they've made the wrong choice. In the Ruby Cloud sect, a woman in her 40s sat in the main seat holding a yellow paper with a grimace. Junior sister, are you certain this is a copy of Nether Sea map? Definitely, just look at the vague lines and the faded landscape. No brush could ever leave such artistry behind. Mai Sangu looked proud as she explained. Her disciples bobbed their heads. Even Chu Ching Cheng. Mai Sangu was happy to give Chu Ching Cheng the credit. Senior sister, it's all thanks to Ching Cheng using a honey trap to get that boy to forget all dangers in making this copy. Senior aunt, that was not a honey trap. Didn't we clear that out? Chu Ching Cheng smiled as she implored her. Master, Shuafan said he wanted me to leave the sect and have a normal life. Nonsense. You're the pillar of the sect. You can't just go with any man that talks to you. Mai Sangu glared at her. Chu Ching Cheng got anxious. But senior aunt, you clearly promised. What? I only said we'll return to report to senior sister. If she doesn't agree, that's that. That's enough. Looking at them all red, the woman raised a hand. Regardless of honey trap or Ching Cheng promising the boy, it no longer matters. This map is fake. Fake. That can't be. Look at the lines. Not made by a human, right? The woman sneered. To be so smug when the other fooled you so badly. No man made the map, true, but also untrue, since no brush was used. Hey! Mai Sangu blinked in confusion. Chapter 1213, War. Chapter 1213, War. Proofreader. Papatonks. The woman shook her head and chuckled. You all, high up on your perch, made you forget the basic human nature. Basic nature? Don't common people eat, drink, and relieve themselves? She threw the yellow paper in Mai Sangu's hand, smiling. Remember when raising Ching Cheng that she drew the same map up to 4 times a day? And that smell, it just never gets old. Ha ha ha. What? Mai Sangu gave the copy another sniff, finally coming to an explosive revelation. Senior sister, you're saying that fricking punk relieved himself on this paper? What do you think? This is absolutely outrageous. Mai Sangu flipped out, flicking her hands with lightning speed, tearing it in drifting pieces on the ground. The thought of having treated that foul thing as treasure for so many months, tracing its every mystical line and making her hands reek, She keeled over and emptied her stomach on the spot. Fang Minute and the disciples sniffed their own hands and couldn't wait a second more to wash their hands. They were elegant ladies, yet had to touch such filthy and repugnant things. Chu Ching Cheng shook her head in disbelief. No, that can't be. He wouldn't lie to me. Why would he use such a thing to toy with me? Humph, dumb girl, he was only messing around and never truly cared about you one bit. You still went on playing the honey trap, when the other played you instead. You even dared to involve ourselves, how worthless. Fang Minute spat. Chu Ching Cheng lowered her head, her heart crushed with heartache. On her first time leaving the sect, the first man she ever felt something for was Zhuo Fan. They were such a good match together, wanting to remain like this, but it turned out that Zhuo Fan had been toying with her. He could have just said the map couldn't be copied. Why did he have to lie to me? Our senior sister's right, that he's only using me and never really cared. How could I be so foolish to not see it? In Gambling Town, he had so many pretty women around, so why would he care about some plain girl instead? As her bleak outlook turned forlorn, Chu Ching Cheng's heart sank. The woman on the main seat coughed. Ching Cheng, men are fickle, so don't let them get to you. You have your destiny with you and are much better off without those fools. Focus on cultivation. Chu Ching Cheng deflated and gave a weak nod as tears brimmed her eyes. Senior sister, I can't do anything right, letting some brat get the best of me at my age and even bringing such filth back to the sect. I deserve to be punished. My Sangu looked ashamed. The woman waved her worries away. We have thousands of years of experience, making our childhood memories vague. The disciples are also sensible to not encounter such an event. It only came to mind because I've been looking after Ching Cheng all these years. She is my dear precious disciple, making these memories deeper. Ha ha ha. Master. Chu Ching Cheng was touched. Unable to overcome the sadness within, she started bawling. Fang Minute huffed in envy. Damn this girl, throwing tantrums. She didn't help the sect one bit, yet Master still treats her so nicely. Where's the fairness gone to? My Sangu only grew angrier and roared, rotten cretin. Senior sister, I'm going after him and putting him in his place, or he'll think Ruby Cloud sect is a pushover. The woman caressed Chu Ching Cheng's hair, her eyes flashing. Sect leader, Devil Mountain made a declaration to the entire sacred domain. A sharp voice came from outside and a girl floated in to present a jade slip. The woman took the jade slip and shouted, Sangu, you don't have to go. He's untouchable. What? Take a look at yourself. He and the Luo clan are now cherished men of demonic emperor. Going after him means waging war. What? My Sangu snatched the jade slip and gave it a quick read, her face fuming. Damn it. They must have given the real Nether Sea map for his status so the dog would have a master. We can't do anything to him now. Fang Minute and the rest were shocked. The Luo clan sure works fast, getting the demonic emperor's protection in such a short time. The leading woman shook her head. Don't worry, they won't be safe for long. When their protector falls, we'll get them and make them pay for Ching Cheng. What? The others blinked in doubt. 3 months later, Zhuo Fan handled the transition of the 20 cities Zhao Chen gave to the Luo clan, who happened to be under the two he killed. There would always be some trouble when such a change occurred, from some ignorant fools trying to take over or other such overambitious people. 3 months to settle all that was not nearly enough. The Luo clan, however, moved with power and speed. Adding to them Murong Lai, Liu Mubai and the other sword kings, all the trouble became trifles. The 20 cities fell into their hands, finally making it officially Luo clan's second turf in sacred domain, thousands of times bigger than Joy Town. It wasn't meant to last, as barely after the Luo clan set up their operations, they met a huge issue: the Three Emperors' War. Steward Zhuo, Featherwind City has noticed suspicious activity outside its walls. A guard bowed before Zhuo Fan frowned. Featherwind City is next to Wraith Emperor's lands. Do Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor prepare to move? Big Brother Zhuo, do we act? Luo Yunhai came over to ask. Luo Siphon spoke with pride, let them try. We have nothing to fear with the demonic emperor watching over us. The Luo clan isn't the only one fighting in this. We have reinforcements. Not happening. Zhuo Fan glared at the two. You think of yourselves shielded and want to fight them? Even with covered backs, it'll be our Luo clansmen who will die out there. Why should we take such losses? Luo Yunhai nodded. I can understand that, but we are at the border of the demonic emperor's lands. Are we to retreat if not attacking? Retreating will ruin this rare chance of getting in the 8 emperors conflict. Then, get the best of 2 worlds by watching them slaughter each other. This grudge is between the 3 of them and we can stay clear. How is the question? Zhuo Fan mused with a flickering gaze. Another person burst in with a new jade slip. Steward Zhuo, demonic emperor Zhao Chen requests your presence. I was about to go see him as well. Zhuo Fan grinned, taking the jade slip and leaving for Devil Mountain with Barley Yuyu. Taking 3 days to arrive, the demon guard knew them and let them in the hall. They bowed before Zhao Chen. Greetings, demonic emperor. Steward Zhuo, please sit. Zhao Chen impatiently gestured at the chairs. Steward Zhuo, I believe you know by now why I called for you, having taken over the 20 cities I gave you. Zhuo Fan nodded. The Wraith Emperor's forces show increased activity. They have ill thoughts. Not just that, but they want to settle the score from years ago. Zhao Chen huffed and flicked his hand. The Falcon Emperor's men are acting up on the other side as well. The 2 must have planned it to pincer me. Do they really think they can beat me with this? Steward Zhuo, I called for you to ask how the Luo clan is handling the 20 cities. Are you ready to block Wraith Emperor's forces? Zhuo Fan paused. Demonic Emperor sir, the Luo clan is still new here, struggling to get all the local thugs in check. Now that the enemy is coming from outside, getting complete control in just 3 months is a little. Alright, I know where you're going with this, but escaping this war is impossible. Now how many men do you need? I'll give them to you. I want to let them know that even with both against me, I'll still crush them. They want to settle things over. Humph, they're far from worthy. Zhao Chen's eyes shone with cruelty. Zhuo Fan muttered, Demonic Emperor sir, the way I see it, avoiding a war is the best option. Chapter 12:14, Overwhelming Tactics. Chapter 12:14, Overwhelming Tactics. Proofreader, Papatonks. Why do you say that, Steward Zhuo? Zhao Chen frowned. Zhuo Fan smiled as he stood, taking a couple of steps. When 2 fight, the 3rd reaps the reward. Demonic Emperor sir is heroic, but against 2 others the odds aren't looking favorable. You may even win, but the losses will be devastating and turn into a loss in the end. While the other emperors will use this chance to seize sir's lands. In short, war will only bring downsides. Like in the war between the Falcon Emperor and the Wraith Emperor, what did sir do? You think I don't know that? Zhao Chen sighed. It's not I who started this fight, but the other 2 geezers coming at me. Not defending will be the same as handing over the land, losing not only territory but my name too. With the world seeing me weak, no one would turn to me for protection. Zhuo Fan nodded. Yes, by not fighting the losses will be greater, making the war a must. However, it shouldn't be sir who fights. Who else then? They came especially to fight me. Let those lurking from the sidelines fight. That's the best tactic. Zhuo Fan wore a sneaky smile. Any that joins it has to suffer. Why doesn't sir just have those spectators hop into the fray while you take their place instead, as the 3rd party? Zhao Chen started. You want me to look for allies? But who would aid me at such a time? There's 2 emperors coming as well. Any allies I find, if I do find any, would at most give a lofty speech only to be a no-show when the war starts. Demonic Emperor sir, it's not seeking allies, but adversaries. You fight alongside allies, unlike with adversaries. They do the work while we watch without lifting a finger. Steward Zhuo, are you in your right mind? Zhao Chen stared hard then cracked up. Ha ha ha, Steward Zhuo, where are we supposed to find such nimrods? I don't know of any among the 8 emperors who'd be that stupid to waste his strength. Zhuo Fan smiled. Of course there aren't any foolish enough to do it, and recruiting adversaries comes with a price, even the 8 emperors. What price would that be? Zhao Chen asked. Zhuo Fan's grin widened, stressing every word. Demonic Emperor sir, have you managed to decipher the Nether Sea map by any chance? You want to give the map? Not happening. Zhuo Fan shook his head, denying such an idea. The Nether Sea map is the only clue to the Nether Sovereign's seat of enlightenment. It's invaluable. Why should I just hand it over? What if they decipher it? The map is too abstruse for common eyes to unravel. The gambling emperor wouldn't have bet it otherwise. We're not going to use the real map either, but a copy. The real thing will stay with Sir. No, what if they can still crack it? We can just tamper with it, making it impossible. Tampering it and they still won't notice. Demonic Emperor Sir, please take out the map and allow me a look. Zhuo Fan bowed squinting. Zhao Chen finally relented and took out the map after a long pause. Zhuo Fan approached casually and pointed, Sir, the map has countless black circles. All we have to do is just add more here while taking there, when we make a copy. No one will figure it out, not even the gambling emperor. The right and left corners are similar as well, so we can just switch them with none the wiser. Even put side by side with the original, who would notice? You could stare at it till you go blind and still won't figure it out. Zhao Chen nodded and exclaimed, Steward Zhuo's tactic is ingenious. With a few subtle changes on the already abstruse map, no one will notice. Now we have a bargaining chip, getting something for nothing, ha ha ha. Only, who should we make a deal with? With who yearns for the map the most? Zhuo Fan pace. In Gambling Town, the gambling emperor threw the map into a bet so he won't value it, or maybe he already owns a copy. The other representatives might want the map, only two yearn for it. The Ruby Cloud sect tried using a honey trap on me to give them a copy. The Sword Emperor's representative even cut off his own toes in the betting. Talking with them would be far more successful. Zhao Chen gave an approving nod, Sir is truly sharp. I'm fortunate to have you. I'll contact the two right away. One moment. Zhuo Fan intervened, Demonic Emperor Sir, no need to be hasty. All know our circumstances, and are sure to make heavy demands if we just go to them with the map. Heed my advice, Sir, and they would be more than willing to work for us. Zhao Chen's face twitched, staring long at Zhuo Fan. Having Sir with me is like gaining a gem. Then I'll leave the overwhelming alliance to Sir. Just doing my duty, Sir. Zhuo Fan bowed, exchanged a couple more words and left with Barley Yuyu. His first goal was the Ruby Cloud sect, where Chu Qingcheng was. The failed deal in the gambling town would be finished this time. Wush tilde. Arriving before the Ruby Cloud sect's territory, a dozen girls blocked their way, with Fang's Min in the lead. Zhuo Fan snickered, shouting, Girlie, go tell them that I represent the demonic emperor and have come to see the enchanting empress on important business. Humph, rotten punk, like we haven't had enough of your tricks last time. Now you have the nerve to come to the Ruby Cloud sect. You're looking to die. Fang Minute huffed, preparing to attack Zhuo Fan. Sisters, rip this arrogant bastard to shred. Yes. The girls went on the offensive, aiming for Zhuo Fan. The heavy pressure befell Zhuo Fan, a bone-tempering cultivator, bound to flatten him. Wush tilde. Barley Yuyu flashed in front, sending a casual ice sword wave at them. Bam! The dozen girls coughed blood and were flung away like flies. They should thank their lucky stars that Barley Yuyu went easy, or there would have been nothing left of them. Barley Yuyu sneered and Zhuo Fan stepped forward. I represent the demonic emperor. Attacking me is attacking, Sir. Does Ruby Cloud sect want a war with Devil Mountain? Humph, the demonic emperor is cornered. Can he spare energy against another enemy? A mocking tone came, followed by a familiar figure. Zhuo Fan perked up. If it isn't Senior Aunt Mai, how have you been? You dare call me that? Just like Ching Cheng does. Zhuo Fan beamed without a trace of shame. My Sangu recalled Zhuo Fan giving her that foul handiwork and cursed, damn cretin, I have a score to settle with you for last time. TCH, so you found out, eh? Here I thought the biddy would take ages. Barley Yuyu mocked. My Sangu's ears twitched, clenching her fists. She knew the girl was more than she looked and winning would not be easy. She couldn't put her in her place. Zhuo Fan laughed. I'll give you all the explanations you want for last time. The real issue is now. I represent the demonic emperor, but you're just keeping me at the door. Huh, and what of it? Devil Mountain's newest servant only knows how to abuse his status. Ha ha ha, my Sangu, how is it any different from you? Zhuo Fan was grave. Being the demonic emperor's representative isn't anything great, but that's not for you to say, since you're not worthy. I'm the demonic emperor's representative, here to see the Ruby Cloud sect leader for a deal. Only your sect leader can send me away, for she is the Ruby Cloud sect. Senior Aunt Mai, are you perhaps that representative? Isn't this a power play? Did the enchanting empress die? Why you? My Sangu's face twitched in anger, ready to explode. She wanted nothing more than to flatten him under her heel, but the only option she had was to bottle up her fury. Not only was Barley Yuyu an unknown guard that she had no confidence winning against, Zhuofan was, unfortunately, right. He was the demonic emperor's representative, and this involved the relations between Devil Mountain and the Ruby Cloud sect. She had no right to take charge here. What a darn shame, a bone-tempering bug had such power, but not her. My Sangu's anger flared once more. Dealing with Zhuofan was like losing 5,000 years of her lifespan. Chapter 12:15, Pressing Urge. Chapter 12:15, Pressing Urge. Proofreader. Papatonks. Senior Aunt Mai. Kill him already. Shut up. Are you an idiot to not see I can't? Fang Minute rushed her, but my Sangu took out her anger on her instead. Dumb girl, you think I don't want to? Zhuofan watched the play with an even smugger grin of disdain. Whoosh tilde. A new figure came before them and Zhuofan cried in joy. Ching Cheng? Senior Aunt Mai, Master invited them into the hall. Chu Ching Cheng was icy, only bowing to Master and leaving right after Zhuofan figured out why and shook his head. Using that stained paper must have angered her. Barley Yuyu shoved his shoulder to express, aren't you going to explain? Don't have to, since anything said at this point won't reach her. Zhuofan smiled broadly as he walked under the girl's guidance into the sect. They reached a quaint hall with a mature woman sitting on a high chair. Zhuofan knew her to be the enchanting empress of the 8 emperors. It's been a while, old crone. The enchanting empress sized him up as he entered, smiling. Steward Zhuo? Please sit. Senior enchanting empress. Zhuofan cupped his hands, sitting in a bamboo chair, with Barley Yuyu sitting next to him. My Sangu and the disciples stood on the enchanting empress's side, never leaving the two out of their sight. Steward Zhuo is from Joy Town? Your name is bringing me unpleasant memories. Sipping her tea, enchanting empress pointed out, he was authoritarian like you. Looking at Steward Zhuo is like seeing him. I wonder if there's a connection. Zhuofan smiled. The demonic emperor said the same thing when he saw me, but I was born and raised in the Luo clan. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the name was bestowed by clan head himself. Oh, it's fine. Just recalling an old friend of days long past. Old friend? Of yours and the demonic emperor? Zhuofan said, I'm quite curious if his so are like me. Why would both seniors have the same reaction? Maybe your old friend must be quite amazing. I would like to hear more, ha ha ha. The enchanting empress stared hard and shook her head, the same yet different, only the first impression is similar. Our friend never joked, was brooding and dark like ice, like a viper. Steward Zhuo is calm by comparison, amiable. Really? The demonic emperor said the same, ha ha ha. Zhuofan sipped his own tea, his eyes flashing, similar yet not, but actually also the same because I was reborn. Zhuofan came from the demonic emperor Zhuo Yifan, but that man had long ago died. The one before you is just Zhuofan, who experienced so much in the mortal domain. The enchanting empress, you will never see my past image no matter how much you scrutinize me. Zhuofan smirked and placed down the cup. Good tea, hibiscus and fresh water, soothing the heart and calming heat mind. It's just like Ruby Cloud sect, fragrant and filled with a woman's energy. Steward Zhuo knows his tea. Ruby Cloud sect's mountain tea is gathered by our maidens with the tip of their tongue in early spring, when they're still pure. No other place has such quality. Tip of the tongue, you say? Zhuofan rose an eyebrow, looking on the tea tray, which is Ching Cheng's. I'll have 10 kilos of it, thanks. The girls turned from him to Chu Ching Cheng, giggling. The enchanting empress smiled as well. Chu Ching Cheng blushed, glaring at him and warning him not to be frivolous. Zhuofan was still looking through the teacups, ignoring her fiery stare. Steward Zhuo is so funny. You're nothing like him, ha ha ha. The enchanting empress turned serious, having enough pleasantries. We've talked for so long yet I've yet to know what the demonic emperor's representative is doing here. Unsuccessful in his noble pursuit, Zhuofan placed the tea at the side and smiled. Nothing much, just a bargain to discuss with the enchanting empress. Bargain? Exactly. Zhuofan grew serious. Enchanting Empress must have heard by now that Sir is about to fight with the Falcon Emperor and the Wraith Emperor. They're testing the waters now, with ill intent. The Demonic Emperor thus wishes to ask the Enchanting Empress to step in and mediate. Upon success, a great reward awaits you. The Enchanting Empress's brow shook, so that's why you're here. The Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor aren't easy to deal with either. With their ill tempers, they would hardly give me any attention. The only reason the two started this war is because they have Sir outnumbered. But Enchanting Empress, by coming forth and standing with Sir, it will be a tie. They would never try anything at that point and everyone would just fall back. The people would be fortunate to be spared from such a calamity. I see, the Demonic Emperor wants my support to intimidate them. The Enchanting Empress squinted then refused. Steward Zhuo can return to the Demonic Emperor, for the Ruby Cloud sect is not about to join such an ill event. Enchanting Empress, we've yet to speak our terms. Maybe they'll be to your liking? There's no need. Stepping in can force the two to withdraw, but what about later? Their hatred would be directed at me. I'm not that narrow-minded to take such little gain and earn two emperors' disfavor. The Enchanting Empress waved him off. Steward Zhuo, you can leave. Send them on their way, girls. Disciples came over at once and offered, after you. Looking at her and then at the hesitant Chu Qingcheng, Zhuo Fan sneered. He nodded and stood. I worked hard to convince the Demonic Emperor to win the Enchanting Empress over, but alas, Ms. Cold. I'll just have to take it up with the Sword Emperor and let him have the Nether Sea map. Wait. Enchanting Empress shouted at his words. What did you say, the Nether Sea map? That's your term, the Nether Sea map? Zhuo Fan nodded. It is, but not the original, just a copy. Copy? You have the nerve to say that. My Sangu flipped at the mere mention of the word. I still haven't paid you back for the last copy you gave me and now you bring your dirty rags here again. The Enchanting Empress was grave. Staring at him, Zhuo Fan snickered. I was about to mention that. When I raised the proposal, I said I would risk my life to copy the map if you give me Qing Cheng. But what do? Return to the sect and leave me hanging. I'm not as gullible as Qing Cheng to believe your lies. But she insisted on having it or she would be scolded. I thus promised her and gave her a map. Zhuo Fan bent backward, sticking out his waist very suggestively, his tone a mockery. Ain't this a map as well? While not Nether Sea map, by any means, but I would rather have you spit fire at me instead of Qing Cheng. Zhuo Fan. Chu Qingcheng was touched and looked, her heart melted. The Enchanting Empress was grave. And now? Is the map real this time? Of course, the Demonic Emperor personally offered the deal, so it can't be anything less than genuine. Zhuo Fan shouted. The Demonic Emperor planned to go for the head of the 8 emperors first, the Sword Emperor. He just had to show up and the other two would easily fall back. But I miss Qing Cheng and hope to give the Ruby Cloud sect some help. Thus I persuade the Demonic Emperor to find another worthy ally, recommending the Enchanting Empress. I did all this so that Qing Cheng and I could be together. I'm doing this out of personal interest, since the Sword Emperor is enough to force the two back. So why even bother making another map? Enchanting Empress nodded. How can we be sure the map is real? When we give you the copy, we'll bring the real map as well so that you can see for yourself. You may also ask the Gambling Emperor to inspect it for any flaws. In that case, we agree to the Demonic Emperor's proposal. The Enchanting Empress shouted with resolve. Since this involved the Sword Emperor, the Falcon Emperor and Wraith Emperor would not direct their anger towards her. The Sword Emperor was there to take the lead and she'd be safe. Chapter 12:16, Meeting the Sword Emperor Again. Chapter 12:16, Meeting the Sword Emperor Again. Proofreader, Papatonks. With the agreement coming to a close, Zhuo Fan and Barley Yuyu said their goodbyes. The Enchanting Empress had someone walk them out, urging them to talk about the details later. The Enchanting Empress gazed into the distance once they were gone, sighing, I can see why a bone-tempering cultivator got such a high position, he has a knack for it. The rash Demonic Emperor can be said to be soaring to new heights now. Senior sister, you believe he? From his proposal, not only could I not find any reason to refuse, but I also lost the right to haggle. Humph, The brat poses as demonic emperor's representative, but is smooth enough to make it look like we're the ones winning in this deal. The enchanting empress's eyes shone. Ching Cheng had no chance against his guile, thoroughly charmed. Sangu, watch Ching Cheng closely. Don't let him take her. My Sangu nodded. Senior sister, I know exactly Ching Cheng's value. I won't let that nameless brat touch one hair on her. The enchanting empress nodded and smiled. In front of the Ruby Cloud sect, a sudden shout stopped the two from leaving wait. Knowing full well why, Zhuo Fan put on a smile as he turned to his intended. Ching Cheng, you don't have to send us off. I still need to pay the Sword Emperor a visit. I would much rather be with you and go through a wedding, even raising a cute baby. Sigh, busy, busy, busy. Cut that out. Who'd ever? Chu Ching Cheng blushed and glared at him. Then she whispered, Zhuo Fan, forgive me for getting the wrong idea about before. I thought you only wanted. My feelings for you are genuine. You don't have to say anything. You'll come to see it in time. Zhuo Fan held her soft hand and pecked her cute cheek. One day I will take you away from the Ruby Cloud sect. Feeling her cheeks burning, Chu Ching Cheng showed no anger, just lowering her head. She gave a faint nod and a smile filled with joy. Zhuo Fan said his goodbye, leaving with Barley Yuyu's piercing stare on him. Chu Ching Cheng watched them go, her deep gaze filled with emotion. 3 months later, on a lofty mountain range, two people walked by looking up at the few clouds surrounding a glorious palace. Zhuo Fan smiled and cupped his hands. I represent the demonic emperor and request a meeting with the Sword Emperor. Whoosh tilde. 30 people surrounded them the next instant, holding swords or blades that glinted in the sun. Zhuo Fan cared not, while Barley Yuyu showed disdain. You call that a sword? Zhuo Fan, you have some nerve coming here when we still have a score to settle from Mist City. A familiar voice echoed as a man stepped out of the encirclement. Zhuo Fan smirked, cupping his hands. If it isn't young Master Xu Zhensheng. It's been a while. Don't you give me that. Xu Zhensheng sneered. You're just looking to get killed, aren't you? In Gambling Town, the Gambling Emperor's turf, we couldn't touch you, but now here you are, in our own lands. You're practically begging for it. Brothers, sword formation. Kill the bastard and take revenge for Elder Liu. Yes. The men pointed their swords at him and a net shot for the two to cut them down. Barley Yuyu flashed in front of Zhuo Fan, releasing her power. Thunder echoed as icy lightning sword aura spread everywhere. Boom. Upon contact, a deafening explosion tore the skies. The 30 swords were reduced to splinters, littering the ground. Their users, however, recoiled from the outburst of power and coughed blood. They slammed on the ground, too wounded to get up. Xu Zhensheng squinted in shock, his voice shaking. Why you dare raise your hand in the Sword Emperor's land? You'll get yours, mark my words. Once I get my senior uncles, you're dead. And do they represent Sword Emperor Ao Changtian? Zhuo Fan sneered. Brother Zhensheng, you have to understand, I'm here on behalf of the demonic emperor to discuss with the Sword Emperor. As the Sword Emperor's disciple, instead of walking us in, you attacked us. It's not just disrespectful to the demonic emperor, but you have disgraced your Sword Emperor. Are his disciples so cocky to find him beneath them? Now you won't even allow his guests to see him? Is he held prisoner in there? Why you? Xu Zhensheng choked, unable to speak as he sweated buckets. Right, this is undermining authority. It mustn't reach Master's ears or I'm dead. Whoosh. Another old face showed up then, dressed in white and having an elegant demeanor. Though he had no legs and floated, the elder gave them a dark look, shouting, the Sword Emperor will see you. Thank you. Zhuo Fan leaned and walked ahead. Barley Yuyu gave the old guy a look and followed Elder Liu. Xu Zhensheng began, but the man held up a hand. The Sword Emperor will handle everything. The old man led the way with Xu Zhensheng at his side. The four reached a magnificent hall, with 18 lofty pillars looking like divine swords. Majestic and kingly in the center seat stood an old man with a white beard, a face covered in scars, and a sharp gaze. What strong sword energy. Barley Yuyu grew grave, clenching her fists. The old man made her feel threatened, in serious danger of dying. Zhuo Fan grinned. Sword Emperor Ao Changtian, we meet after so long. What comes around goes around. With me gone, The second best for 10,000 years finally got the throne, ha ha ha. Whoosh tilde. A cold wave flashed and Barley Yuyu caught a cold blade between her fingers. It was 7 feet long, covered in intricate dragon patterns. The tip was aiming straight for Zhuofan's forehead, merely an inch from killing him. That was too close. Barley Yuyu gasped, knowing it was for Zhuofan. She looked back at Sword Emperor on his chair. He stared at her as well, then laughed. Girl, good skills. Who taught you? Family legacy. Barley Yuyu stared at him with anger in her eyes. What does Senior Sword Emperor mean by this? Elder Liu floated on a seat next to Sword Emperor, looking coldly at the two. Xu Zhenxing stood at his side. Sword Emperor began. The boy took my junior brother's legs and thinks that being the demonic emperor's representative would absolve him of it. But you're only going to leave this place without your legs. What? Barley Yuyu glared at him. You want Steward Zhuo's legs? I don't think so. Ha ha ha, you've lost any right the minute you entered my domain. I want his legs and nothing more out of respect for that demonic emperor brat, or did you think I'd stop there otherwise? The Sword Emperor's power exploded, flashing in the two's faces. His pressure slammed like a mountain, making them gasp as even their yuan qi slowed down. Barley Yuyu panicked inside as sweat trickled down. They were far from able to take on the 8 Emperor's power. Chapter 1217, Three-Way Talk. Chapter 1217, Three-Way Talk. Proofreader, Papatonks. A deadly bloodthirst enveloped them, like a sea of needles aimed at their heart. Barley Yuyu was frozen in place by now, while Zhuofan took a casual step forward. We came to give you the Nether Sea map. The Sword Emperor immediately stopped his relentless pursuit for vengeance, staring hard at Zhuofan. What was that? Sword Emperor, we came to give you the Nether Sea map. Kill me and you'll never get the chance again. Humph, you think it'll save you? Think again. The Sword Emperor flicked his hand, but then he went back to his throne, barking, what the hell are you up to? Talk already before I lose the little patience I have left. Zhuofan cupped his hands. Sword Emperor, it's like this. You must have heard by now how the Falcon Emperor and Wraith Emperor are moving. The demonic emperor doesn't fear them and only wants to spare the people the needless destruction and pain. Thus he is asking the Sword Emperor to mediate. You can't beat them, so you came crawling to me. Don't you think offering a copy instead of the original is a little insincere? My hands are tied. This is as far as the demonic emperor will bargain. Zhuofan sighed, seeing as the Sword Emperor rejected the proposal. We shall leave. The two bowed. Wait. The Sword Emperor shouted. Zhuofan looked back. Anything else I can do for you, Sword Emperor? Use it to cut off your legs and you may leave with your life. The Sword Emperor pointed at the sword Barley Yuyu threw on the ground. Barley Yuyu grimaced, awaiting Zhuofan's signal. Zhuofan smiled and sighed. He stared at the sword. Sword Emperor, can't I make amends instead? I would rather not go without my legs for the rest of my days. This is what you get for cutting my junior brother's legs. I'm not as gracious as you might think. Sword Emperor, I told you that I can make amends. Just tell me what I have to do, short of cutting my legs. What do you have that's worth my junior brother's legs? At Gambling Town, Senior Liu cut his 2 toes for the Nether Sea map. I figured using the same map in exchange for his legs should be worth it. I'm sure Senior Liu would have gladly given up his legs then just to earn the map. The old man eyed the Sword Emperor with a grave look, nodding. The Sword Emperor said, then hand it over, but can you take it from the demonic emperor? Not the original, only a copy, if you don't mind. Copy. Sword Emperor glanced at Elder Liu to see him frowning, then nodding. Anything's better than nothing. It shouldn't be fake either, right? Of course not. I have a way to prove it to Sir, and you can even take it up with the Gambling Emperor to validate it. That's settled then. The girl will stay here as insurance. Sword Emperor clapped, his decision final. Zhuofan snickered, bowing. Sword Emperor, you don't need a hostage. All Sir has to do is mediate the war and the demonic emperor will gladly offer the copy. What? Sword Emperor glared at him. You're toying with me. Sword Emperor, I would never. Outrageous. I deigned letting you make amends by exchanging the Nether Sea map copy for your legs, but in the end, you're still dragging the demonic emperor into this. How is that making amends? Sword Emperor, please, I'm really doing what I said. Zhuo Fan bowed in panic. To be honest, the demonic emperor already found an ally, the Ruby Cloud sect's enchanting empress. 2 against 2 would be enough to force the enemy emperors to withdraw. The matter with Elder Liu that day weighed heavy on my mind that I insisted on making another copy and having the Sword Emperor for an ally. The Sword Emperor is the head of the 8 emperors, lofty and respected. Your mere presence will smooth things over. However, the demonic emperor was disinclined towards this proposal. More copies meant, haha, you understand. So I worked 3 days and 3 nights to get the demonic emperor to accept the Sword Emperor as an ally. It's just a matter of mediating and Sir will get the copy. It's hardly any different from doing nothing, isn't it? Isn't this ample proof of my sincere actions? Ah. The Sword Emperor paused, looking at Zhuo Fan's smile and said, I can see now how you got a name for yourself in Gambling Town, thanks to that insidiousness and guile. With you by the demonic emperor's side, it's like having 100 more spirit kings. Sword Emperor, you flatter me. That's no compliment, but reality. The Sword Emperor waved. Fine, you can go. I'll agree with the demonic emperor's request. We'll now wait to meet and settle the rest. By the way, bring the gambling emperor as well to inspect the map. Zhuo Fan bowed. Thank you so much, Sword Emperor. Farewell. Zhuo Fan and Barley Yuyu left. The Sword Emperor's face fell. Rotten brat, so cunning that it makes me want to flay him alive, but I can't do nothing to him. Humph, just a bone-tempering cultivator yet. Bam. The Sword Emperor slammed the table beside him to pieces. Xu Zhensheng started. Master, we're just going to let him go? Elder Liu's legs. Didn't he say it himself? He made up for it with the Nether Sea copy. Elder Liu looked downcast. But isn't that just a simple trade? It is, but in his view, it's making amends, so that's what it is. He also brought up the Ruby Cloud sect to corner us. We could forego the deal, but all we need to do is mediate and we'll get a copy of the Nether Sea map. We can't let this easy win pass us by. But we could have still cut his legs. He made no amends, just speaking on behalf of the demonic emperor. A deal is one thing while retribution is another. Xu Zhensheng's eyes flashed with cruelty. The Sword Emperor and Elder Liu shook their heads, arching. When you meet him again, strike him then and there. Don't ever give him the chance to speak. Why? The moment he does, you'd have lost all reasons to do so. The Sword Emperor sighed. I could have done it at first, but lost my chance as he skirted around the Nether Sea map, the reason for the deal. With it in play, I lost all reason to deal with him. He represents the demonic emperor. Killing him means no deal, when we truly want it to go through. The kid is bad news, able to save his skin and accomplish the demonic emperor's task. Xu Zhensheng started and Elder Liu sighed. The debt for his legs would remain on hold for a long time. A month later, Zhuo Fan returned to Devil Mountain. Zhao Chen could hardly wait, questioning the minute he stepped in the hall. Well, how did it go? Those 2 geezers have been growing restless these past months. They've taken 3 towns already. I haven't joined the fight since I've been waiting for you to give me a reply. Demonic Emperor Sir can rest easy knowing everything went as planned. Zhuo Fan smirked. The Enchanting Empress and Sword Emperor will be stepping in, all for just 1 copy of the map and nothing more. Now it's up to Sir to use them against each other. The Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor will come out heavily wounded at the least. Zhao Chen laughed. Steward Zhuo, you're amazing to get 2 helpers so quickly. Luck's on my side, ha ha ha. I'll send letters to them right away to have a talk and settle those geezers. Brilliant, sir. Zhuo Fan bowed, his smirk obvious. 3 days later, Devil Mountain sent 2 jade slips. After 2 more months, the Sword Emperor and Enchanting Empress arrived with their forces, along with a fat man in fancy clothes. Chapter 12:18, Inconsistent. Chapter 12:18, Inconsistent. Proofreader, Papatonks. Wearing a decorated black robe, Zhao Chen took his 20 demon guards to welcome them, with Zhuo Fan in their lead. Of course, Sword Emperor, Enchanting Empress, it's been a long time. I'm thrilled to have both of your support in this matter, ha ha ha. Demonic Emperor, please, we came to do our part and receive our just reward, ha ha ha. the two replied back with respect. Sword Emperor went right to it. Isn't it time to show us what you promised? We've gone to great lengths to bring experts to appraise it. The Sword Emperor made way as he pointed at a fatty behind. Zhao Chen cried, Gambling Emperor, you're here too? Sure I am. In such a crucial situation, Sword Emperor insisted that I validate the items. I was also free at the moment, so I tagged along to enjoy the bustle. I'm curious if there's been any clues to unraveling the Nether Sea map after taking it from me. The Gambling Emperor smirked. Zhao Chen shook his head. Gambling Emperor, you jest. Known for your sharp mind, if you, who had it for decades and couldn't crack it, how could I do so in only a few days? Then there's the recent trouble that came up, taking more of my time. You're overthinking things. You don't have to remind me. The answer to the riddle is like gambling, up to luck, coincidence, and a whole lot of wisdom. I'm just a bit brighter, but not wiser, for true wisdom is unassuming and simple. Maybe your little friend managed to do it in a couple of days. Hey, are you two done? This is not the time to show off when we haven't even seen the map. The Sword Emperor cut the two's idle chatter. Since this is a discussion among three parties, it will only be carried out on the premise of the map's validity. The Demonic Emperor and Gambling Emperor laughed, the former bringing them into the main hall. A 3-meter-long table lay in the center. Zhao Chen took out 3 boxes and placed them on it, opening each one to reveal 3 scrolls. The middle one had everyone's focus, confirming it to be the real Nether Sea map. The other 2 looked newer, obviously the copies. Unfolding them, they all looked the same, covered in black dots and circles. The lines at the top were also copied to the tiniest detail. This is the real Nether Sea map. Unlike that. My Sangu had come as well, and her eyes shone as she sighed. Then she glared at Zhuo Fan, recalling the indignity he put her through with his sick joke. Zhuo Fan bowed towards Gambling Emperor. Senior, please inspect the copies and see if there are any discrepancies so we may correct. There's nothing to inspect about the original. It just can't be faked. The Gambling Emperor nodded. The genuine map is made of ancient nether paper, filled with yin energy, making it impervious and eternal, the craftsmanship lost with time. Everything's about the drawing, whether it's done accurately. It's only a matter of matching the copies to the original. The Gambling Emperor leaned over to look closer. After many hours, he still said nothing. A day in and he still found them to be identical to the real map. The others didn't disturb him in the process, since it involved the other three's basis for cooperation. Only after the second day did the Gambling Emperor put them down and sighed. Yes, the copies are the same. The rest nodded, smiling. Now we shall help the Demonic Emperor in talking those 2 old guys into withdrawing so peace can be restored. The Sword Emperor turned lively, knowing that the map was within reach. The Enchanting Empress nodded as well, in full agreement. The sooner they were done, the sooner she got what she wanted. Zhao Chen shouted, Hold on, I changed my mind. You don't want to trade? The Sword Emperor reacted. Zhao Chen shook his head. Hardly, I just wish to add another condition. Don't you think it's too easy to get a copy by only talking? What do you propose? The 2 frowned, having a bad feeling. Zhao Chen snickered, cupping his hands. I ask that you promise me something. We all know the value of the Nether Sea map, and I wish to ask a favor of you 2 in exchange for a copy. What is it? That all 3 of us act. Help me to take all of the lands owned by the Wraith Emperor and Falcon Emperor. What? The 2 flinched, with the Enchanting Empress shouting. Steward Zhuo clearly said it's only mediating. There was no mention of attacking. How can you just? Yeah. Zhuo Fan also intervened. Demonic Emperor sir, when I asked sirs for cooperation, fighting wasn't part of it. Going back on it isn't, right? What's so bad about it? And you have no right to talk here. Back off. Zhao Chen glared at him. Zhuo Fan sighed and stepped down. Zhao Chen turned to the other 2. When I sent Steward Zhuo to ask for your help, the war hadn't started. With you acting as mediators, it wouldn't matter then, since no harm's been done. Now, those bastards took 10 of my cities. I'm not about to take this lying down. You may still be after brokering peace, but I've grown out of it. Humph. The 2 darkened, looking at the copies now and then. Getting them to attack over the copy was... Demonic Emperor, I'm sorry to say this, but you're asking for too much. Zhuo Fan was grave, stepping in with a bow. The Nether Sea map is valuable, but it is merely a faint hope. Deciphering it is still uncertain. Asking the Sword Emperor and Enchanting Empress to get involved in the war will bring them losses, and they have to receive adequate compensation. I propose that after their lands are taken over, the demonic emperor would split them with the two sirs, making it a common ground to act together. Adding the 2 copies as well, and it sounds worthwhile. Outrageous. Zhao Chen snapped. You want to split my gains? Isn't that asking for much? Zhuo Fan, on which side are you on? Sir, I'm always on your side, but in business, both sides need to be satisfied. How else are they to help you? No, the most I can offer is 20 cities, since I'm still throwing in the 2 maps. Demonic Emperor. I believe Steward Zhuo's proposal to be reasonable. We will divide everything evenly among us 3. That's the only way for us to involve our own forces. Enchanting Empress, don't haggle with me. I'm even giving you the map. Zhao Chen roared. The Enchanting Empress said with a cold smile, right now, you're surrounded on all sides. What good will a piece of paper do when you're burning to the ground? In any case, if you want us to fight, we can, but we're not about to suffer for nothing. Sword Emperor, are you up for some charity? Ha ha ha, I'm no fool to accept such dumb demand. Why you all? Demonic Emperor gnashed his teeth, flinging his hand in the air. Fine, have it your way. We'll split it 3 ways, that's our agreement. As for the maps, we'll have them, of course. Why the hell would you? Because those 2 came for you. It wouldn't bother us at all if we just stayed back, while you needed us. Sword Emperor sneered, the map is the reward for our cooperation. The demonic emperor was huffing and puffing in anger, but finally turned away. Fine, do what you want, making me lose so much. And you talk too much. Zhao Chen pointed at Zhuo Fan, barking before going to his chambers. Zhuo Fan sighed, while the 2 emperors were smug. The gambling emperor gave Zhuo Fan a long look, sporting a crafty grin. The kid sure is something else. Steward Zhuo, we would like to make a copy ourselves. Could we? Zhao Chen was gone now, and the enchanting empress asked Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan frowned, giving her a dark look. We had the copies prepared already. Why would you bother for more? Do you doubt? No, we just wish to feel for ourselves the fascination of the Nether Sea map. Zhuo Fan smiled after some difficulty. As you wish, but please give your copy to the gambling emperor for keeping. The gambling emperor is fair, always neutral. Once the deal is done, each of you can take your copy from him. We understand. The enchanting empress and sword emperor took out paper and started copying the Nether Sea map. Zhuo Fan sneered inside. These geezers are the same, cautious to the extreme, ha ha ha. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.